grew up on a farm, started business pretty young. So
Is Paul your cousin?
First cousin. Yeah.
Okay. So dads or moms or
dads are brothers.
brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
because he was like, his last name's Dysinger. And I was like,
Dysinger, yeah.
Dysinger. And I
Yeah.
was like, isn't that Paul's last name?
yeah, yeah.
In your last name all the time.
That's all right. Yeah, it's
I hope I don't.
Dysinger.
I have developed some sort of like, it's gone through all of us.
Okay.
We won't,
Yeah.
Gideon had it, and then Henry had it, and now I can feel it like
Yeah.
we're
some
at the
sort of-
end
Thank
of
you.
whatever this is that we had.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're probably recording already. That's
right.
good.
So I hope I don't start.
So this can feel live, but if you say anything, the only reason we'll edit this is if you say, "Hey, I don't want to talk about that," or what.
Or
we only had that one happen
I really
once.
think I shouldn't put that in.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah, you might
People
say something.
like, I want to answer I want to answer you, but like
Right.
we can't put this out in the
Sure.
in the world. And I'm like, okay.
I don't think we're going to run into that, but hey,
Yeah.
you know.
And Matt, of course, you feel free to interrupt and adjust.
I'm gonna move this over. So
Okay. I was thinking. Okay. Perfect.
Oh, I should say something to the audience while we're waiting. It's a little bit of housekeeping. This is a podcast. This is not a vlog. This is not our normal show. We're doing something on the farm. I'm teaching something on the farm video. This is very much us sitting down this is a podcast, and I put it in a podcast playlist. We sit down with guests, long form conversation that can range all over the place, from family to farming to faith, even to business, all these things. And it's just so you know, you'll see a thumbnail. It'll have the name of the guest in the title, and then I'll have the thumbnail with a white background and usually a picture of the guest and a picture of us. That's how you know. If you're not ready for a 2-hour conversation, don't click on it. Save it. And if it were me, I would listen to it as a podcast on YouTube Music. These also get uploaded there, and I'll put a podcast on while I'm training, while I'm milking the cow, while I'm driving, while you were listening to our podcast on the way over here with Barbara.
Yep.
While I'm doing dishes. That's the best way, I think, to consume these. Jonathan, we would have introed you in the description, so I'm going to jump right into it. One of the most large amount of comments we get.
Okay.
Being organic, practicing, and organic eaters and growers. I'm surprised you use plastic in the garden.
Oh, we're jumping right in. All right.
We're jumping around.
Okay. Yeah.
So you just brought me a big old roll of plastic. And I said, thank you.
Yeah.
and we're for it. People may or may not know where we're coming from it, but I want to know where you're coming from it too. In this balance of organic, we're just trying to grow the best food we can, to using the world's technologies, the good and the bad of it, just to make something happen.
So what's the question?
And I ask you, because you had this plastic made.
Yeah.
So here's the question. Let's start with this question, because we can ask many. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I'm going to say that the plastic that we sell is, we do our best to make sure that it's as safe as possible. And that means it's UV treated. It's not like a grocery store bag that if it's out in the sun or, outside for 2 months, you're going to come out and it's just going to be like already completely disintegrated to where you'd have to use like a vacuum cleaner to get it all up or something. So, there's literally probably millions of different compositions of plastics made up of, all kinds of different formulas that go into to make that. So when a company like us goes to buy plastic, we can actually dictate how much UV compounds go in there to stabilize that product. And so there's just, it's like, you can't really just compare, you can't just like answer a question like that just about plastic in general, I guess you would say. I mean, I guess what I would say is, like, for myself personally, I really would love to see us be able to do farming and agriculture on this kind of scale without using any of it. But it's just really hard. I've seen a lot of growers or homesteaders, people even just trying to do a garden. You'll see around us, gardening is pretty common. And there's so many examples where you see somebody out there in, around us, maybe end of March, certainly in April, they're tilling up a spot in the backyard and they're all excited and they've got their tomatoes in a row and they get their cages around them and it looks all nice for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then, by June, July, it's, you got Johnson grass and weeds this tall. And by August, they're out there with their bush hog, just, turning it in.
This is a true story.
And I mean, that happens every single season. And so it's like, that's not cool. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, then really what benefit did you get from that? It's just stressful. It's just,
I will say this. So last year was our first year using the weed fabric. We've been using the, what's it called?
Silage tarp for nearly 10 years now.
Well, we saw silage tarps for the first time on the Great American Farm Tour with Jean-Martin Fortier at his place. I was like, we need this in our life because what are we doing? And then we did the weed fabric and now I'm like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm like, we grew so much last year. We would not have been able to do what we did if we didn't have it.
Yeah.
You don't quit the grocery store the year after a hurricane wipes out your farm.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's because of the high tunnel. It's because of the silage tarps. It's because of the weed fabric.
Yep. So, I mean, from my perspective, just to try to wrap that question up, I'm all for trying to minimize it. We could talk briefly about some ways to maybe do that, but, plastic is just a part of life now. You can't have a greenhouse without, I mean, sure, you can have a glass greenhouse, but then you're talking about a lot of money.
Well, so one thing that we got was microplastics. You're just putting microplastics into your soil.
Yep.
But are we maybe I don't understand the mechanism of microplastics, and that's completely could be true. And
do plants soak up the microplastics?
Yeah. So I'm not even going to pretend to know that, but I mean, I've done a little bit of research and obviously, microplastics are a real thing.
Right.
But I would guess that most of that is probably coming from plastics that aren't UV stable and that are actually legitimately degrading into the soil. And,
okay. Because this isn't degrading. The weed fabric, I mean, it will degrade over time, obviously.
And the other thing that is important to mention, and I was telling Justin a minute ago, I've seen this firsthand. People will go and buy a cheap fabric. And that you can buy, there was one person that was trolling us on Facebook forever until we blocked him. And he kept getting in the comments and being like, just go to Wayfair and spend $30 and you can get a roll of the same thing. And I don't know if it's the same thing, but I know that what we sell has, 5 years of UV stabilization built into it. It's a high quality product. And I've seen people that have just bought that budget stuff, whether it's maybe at Lowe's or Home Depot or just a cheap online or on Amazon, literally just break down. It will just turn in. It's like, it's the whole woven aspect of it just deteriorates and you're picking up tiny bits and pieces and that I think would be really unfortunate. But I don't know. My take on it is I'm all for minimizing it, but from my experience and what I've seen with others, you might start off with great intentions of never incorporating plastic into your growing, but then once you do, you kind of come back with your tail between your legs saying I don't know how I could do it without it. And there's legitimate benefits to the crops too, but just keeping the soil covered. That's what Mother Nature wants. If you leave bare soil, it's always going to try to cover itself. So we're sort of artificially covering. Of course, there's all kinds of techniques with mulches and straw and stuff like that. There's ways to do it. Most of those seem to come with more, just logistical challenges and labor that's involved with them. But I will say Ben Hartman has been doing some really interesting things. He's not homestead space, but he's a very small scale market farmer. He grows on like a third of an acre, I think, in his backyard essentially. So it's almost just a large backyard garden. But he has really been trying to quit plastic. on his farm, at least plastic that's contacting the soil. From my understanding, he's still using greenhouses, which plastic coverings and all that. But he's experimenting with some interesting techniques using burlap. Now you have to make sure you get untreated burlap, otherwise it'd be a lot of chemicals in it, my understanding. But using that to cover the soil, and also just doing real intensive plantings where you're actually intentionally planting plants that are covering the area. So I saw on his Instagram recently, like a tomato greenhouse where normally they would just lay down plastic and plant the rows of tomatoes. But this year he's like planted the tomatoes, but also immediately planted a bunch of other stuff, like interplanted next to the tomatoes that are shorter time span crops, like lettuces and radishes and stuff like that. That by the time the tomatoes are, yay tall, you're harvesting all of that, and your tomatoes have a good jump on the weeds. So there's techniques, but at the end of the day,
they're very labor intensive. I think that's what, people, one of the complaints that I saw online, not in regards to us, but just in general about, it's wild that plastic is allowed in organic growing. Yeah. And I was like, okay, you don't want to pay the labor. You don't want to pay the farmer what he's going to have to charge you if he doesn't use this ground. Like, we grow a large garden and it is a lot of work, and we're just eating it ourselves. I can't imagine if I was selling it, like what I would have to sell the produce for,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's the balance of it, of like it's all us crunchy moms who are like, we don't want anything to, touch our stuff. But like, I mean, I'm pretty crunchy as they come. Like I'm very natural, but you're going to have to pry the plastic from my hands.
Yeah, it's once you've experienced it, it's hard to go back.
I would like to do, I would try to do a little bit of the burlap. I think Uline sells it, but I'm going to go back and look and see if it's treated. Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah. So that's, this is putting a whole, and then, I don't know. Justin's like, he's like, we're using the plastic. I'm like, okay. Cause we did 300 broccoli plants. Yeah. I have broccoli for a whole year in my freezer. Yeah. Like, it's amazing. Yeah. And we have quit the grocery store for a lot of things because of what we grew last year and preserved.
Cool. Yeah. It's an easy sell once you've experienced it. We are experimenting and we're going to be coming to market fairly soon with a product that we're not producing it, but we've sourced it. That's a completely organic compound of paper. So it's like a thick paper mulch. Okay. And it's OMRI listed for organic use. But so there's not any like glue compounds and stuff that are dangerous. But the problem with that is then it's literally just a one growing season product. And also it's a little bit challenging because with it being paper, you can't just use the staples to hold it down. So we do have some like decomposing pins, but even those you have to put them so close together for it to really keep the wind from just ripping it apart. So you almost have to like put that down and then cover it with wood mulch chips. Or like put dirt along the edges. Yep. And so, there's still some benefit there, but it's just a lot more work than the fabric. Yeah. So
we use the DeWitt weed fabric for that. But like you said, we've always used that in a case where
it was usually
in lieu of cardboard,
or hard, or
because the glue is in cardboard, and then we're always putting mulch over it. We're always putting grass clippings or wood chips, but it's not the
it's usually just more challenging to do it in the
crop garden. Yep, large scale. The reason I think Rebecca and I and you can see it is because if you don't use these plastic and go through that intensity to get it, or you opt out of plastics and buy it, if you're not growing it, you're going to have to buy it. And where you're going to buy it from is going to be using plastics. Yeah. Yeah. And trucks to get it to you.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah. does your audience understand what we're talking about? The product we're talking about? Are they exposed to this?
Or should we talk from about us that? Last year. Cause
so the woven fabric.
Yeah. Cause we did it all last year. We actually used it in our sweet potatoes, collards, strawberries, cabbage, broccoli, tomatoes. Cool. Like we used it a lot last year.
Everything.
And it was
except for the onions, and that's why we got some more from you today.
And I don't know what we were thinking. I have no idea what we were thinking because we just started this garden and we planted onions. Yeah. Like, hello.
It was in a new garden.
Yeah.
Plot. It was such a disaster.
We had the pigs help us till it, so they're not going to quite do like a machine tiller.
Sure.
Could you do potatoes in weed fabric? I mean, because like you would have to go down directly underneath the hole, but that's probably a little tricky. Yes,
I think you
could do potatoes. Why not?
I'm wondering. Maybe we need to do it on potatoes.
I think with sweet potatoes, you could definitely do.
We did it with sweet potatoes, and we got potatoes.
We get footballs.
It was great.
So you probably could. I mean, it'd be worth experimenting. What I have seen, or what my family's done, and it works pretty well, is just doing a really thick straw mulch. Mm-hmm. So plant potatoes, hill it up a little bit, and then just do a dense, thick straw mulch.
Do that this year.
And they come up through there, and then that pretty much keeps the weeds at bay.
Now, this is maybe where we want to go eventually. Is Elliot Coleman taught us a long time ago to do undersowing. So you plant the potatoes and you keep it hoed for a few weeks. Wait.
Yeah.
And then you plant a cover crop.
Cover crop.
Like that. Yeah.
And walk away.
We've definitely done that. I don't know.
What are the cons on that? The weeds are still coming up.
Come up with it.
Yeah, I mean, the weeds are going to come up. I have some vague recollections of doing this before and just the potatoes not doing well.
They're competing with that.
Maybe it's the fighting over nutrients or just like, I don't know.
And you had mentioned too, okay, we can say, okay, the bad is maybe some microplastics, but I had mentioned that in a vlog and you contacted me and you said, it's rated for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Switch it out at 4.
Yeah, you could.
If you're so concerned.
You could. Then you have to also balance like putting it in a landfill and just getting more versus trying to get the full maximum life out of it.
I know. It's all very tricky.
I mean, here's the thing is like looking back in history, like as humanity, we've always made mistakes that we look back on and regret. And obviously we want to try to minimize that as much as possible. Yeah. But I think like using some high quality UV stabilized plastic to help, control weeds and help with sanity when you're trying to grow a garden is probably, much less of a like hazard than, lead and, asbestos and some of the other things. I could be totally wrong on that, but like we've exposed ourselves to a lot of really bad stuff. And again, to my knowledge, these products are not just like actively breaking down and going straight into the food that we're eating.
Yeah, that'd be it too. Do the plants absorb it?
I obviously, want to keep an open mind to this, and we're as a company researching alternatives and trying to make sure that we're being good stewards of our influence, I guess. But you just can't. Most of our customers can't do what they're trying to do without it, which is so we're just here to try to support them in that.
So. I will say I've read that Shilajit. It's a supplement. It's like a mineral supplement.
Okay.
Of course, you have to get a good brand, but it supposedly helps your body detox microplastics. So if you're concerned.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think there are ways for us to maybe mitigate some of the problems that we could have caused ourselves. I mean, the body is a resilient thing. Yeah. Like you said, like all those awful things, we have been able to still be a healthy person.
Sure. I also just feel like if you're really going to be worried about plastics, there's probably a lot of other areas where at least I know myself personally would benefit from focusing on more like, not drinking out of plastic water bottles or not like storing food in plastic containers or not like, there's a lot of other areas where most of us utilize plastic where it's in much more direct contact with the item that you're eating, probably like plastic, spatulas where you're making your food. Like, I mean, who knows?
That's breaking it down right away.
Exactly.
Like,
so, I mean, hopefully a lot of people aren't doing that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it's easy for people to get on, you know, Facebook comments and be like,
oh yeah, or like,
YouTube comments.
Open
your fridge and it's like, they probably got all kinds of plastic in there that they're storing all their leftovers in and whatever, you know.
Good
so
point.
It's just, I don't know.
Touche.
I mean, it's true. It's so true.
The environmental case that people will tap in, speak alarm for the environment, but I'm thinking you're on a plastic phone.
Yeah, it's like nobody's cutting plastic out of their life completely at this point. So.
Well, I will say, like, you know, then after we've grown this garden or sourced a lot of our produce locally at farms, I'm saving it in plastic.
Sure.
I mean, I've looked into trying to save it, like stainless steel containers.
Yep.
I did the math last year because I was like, I was feeling a lot of stress just about plastic in general. And if I was going to buy like stainless steel gallon containers.
Yeah.
And we had like 15 gallons of strawberries, probably 15 of blueberries, if not 20. I'm thinking like, it's like $5,000 investment to buy this to then, but then I have to store it. Like it's just a big mess. Like it's a lot. And I'm not against it, but I'm just saying, we have 5 people in our 5 kids plus us 7, you know, it's a lot of food that we go through.
So I mean, my take is like, I hope that there's people out there that have the resources and like, you know, that are researching alternatives and like developing new products that could help us to cut more plastics out of our lives. But like, that's a process, and hopefully, you know, years down the road, we'll have some awesome alternatives that will allow us to remove more plastics from our everyday lives. But, in the meantime, I think we just have to be smart about it and try to minimize it.
If we're afraid that the harm is plastic on the plants, though, you did mention that there are some good, because one, we're mulching the earth and it likes to be covered. Mother nature is modest. But 2, you were mentioning that it protects the plant from competition. Weed competition, and then do better. I mean, our broccoli was stellar and our sweet potatoes. And I
think it's partly, you know, the competing for nutrients. It's also partly soil temperatures, moisture retention.
Oh, that too.
Then, you know, not having as much moisture just evaporating out of the soil so quickly. And, so yeah, you know, one thing I'll mention on this, like if somebody's really worried about the plastic thing, I had somebody tell me that they had a customer utilizing the paper. Actually, the vendor that we're buying this paper product from, he was working with a customer, I think it was somebody out in California, and they were actually putting down paper and then putting in direct contact with the soil and then putting a woven fabric on top of that. And so that kind of like holds down and retains that paper and keeps it from blowing and ripping, but you're also keeping a barrier direct from the plastic directly
from touching the earth.
So, I mean, that's going to be expensive.
It's going to get
the paper
expensive,
is not, the paper is as expensive. Our like raw material cost of the paper is actually double what the fabric is. It's a lot more expensive. Maybe prices will come down on stuff like that, but those are, you know, natural resources that you're utilizing too for making all that paper. So, anyways, that's just an option. I haven't personally experimented with that, but it's interesting because then you're, you know, you have that barrier, but then as that paper kind of breaks down, that actually is adding nutrients and organic matter into the soil. So again, there's all kinds of different hacks, but I guess what I would tell people is like, just try it. And I think you'll realize that the benefits probably outweigh the cons. Like,
I mean, it's a miracle worker, honestly. We just couldn't have done what we did without it.
Sure.
I mean, we're sold and believers. I mean, we don't like plastic, but we do like this. Like we just can't do what we need to do without it. So.
Right. Or we'd have to buy it and they're just going to be using it.
Yeah.
So that's the reality of it.
Sure.
Do you want to grow your own food or not?
And so, when it rains, it goes through the fabric, or no, it doesn't.
It does. It's permeable.
It is permeable. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it comes down to, I'll remind people too, you gotta know your why, and you gotta let people have their why. And it's different. I learned that, people grieve different. When somebody dies, somebody might, when my dad died, somebody got up immediately and started cleaning the house. Immediately. We're all in the room with him. And then somebody else goes outside and screams.
Yeah.
And then somebody else gets upset because that person cleaned the house. Right. Because their way of grieving is
leaving it
just
as
chill and just watch and just rest it. And the other person grieves by just doing. And so it's the same thing. So you got to know your why. If Rebecca and I are doing this because we want to quit the grocery store and we want to optimize our health, then we're gonna we might do this plastic, and we won't care that we'll need to replace it in 4 years, even though it costs more money. Whereas somebody else might not be so health oriented, plastic scared, and they might make that tarp last 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, I can guarantee you this, that the produce that you grow with our quick plant fabric and, keep the weeds out of your garden and everything, that produce that you grow is going to be healthier for you than what you buy in the grocery store.
Yes.
So if that's what helps you to be able to quit the grocery store, then go for it, because it's going to be better produce, more nutritionally dense, even if there was some exposure to plastic. I could feel like we can confidently agree on that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then somebody who may be doing this more for the environment would be more inclined to get a little more hustle on doing the cover crops, or the wood chips, or the grass clippings,
or if you just love
for
weeding,
mulch.
If you just,
it's not so terrible.
If it's just your outlet for stress or whatever,
it's not so terrible.
You want to spend hours.
I did it on an acre.
Yeah. He's done it.
We did a CSA, and it was every other day in June.
Not use any weed fabric.
And it was pretty annoying.
This is a very long time
ago. And
we
it's better when somebody else is out there with you.
Yeah.
And you can talk and argue and complain and laugh and have a good time. And then you're doing something else. You're not just weeding.
Yeah.
But then if you get 5 kids and you have the old McDonald farm and you're running a business, and you learn to take, and you get older, you got to take some shortcuts.
And the teenagers like to go, and
you
have to go too, and it's a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so you run a company that is Farmer's Friend.
Farmer's Friend, yeah.
Why? Because you sell the silage tarp, the weed fabric, the high tunnels, sandbags.
Yeah.
Why are you helping farmers?
Well, I mean, we can go back to the beginning if you want to. I know we got time. So I grew up on a farm. My parents, my grandpa bought a 200-acre farm after he retired. He was a doctor. Farming wasn't really in the family per se. It wasn't anybody directly that was farming, but he was born and raised, through his early childhood in Hickman County, Tennessee, which is where we live.
Wow.
And traveled all over the world. He worked he worked as a doctor, doing mission work, and also for the government, embassies all over the world. But
is this the same? Do you and Paul Dysinger of Seed Time share the same grandfather?
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that.
And he was a missionary. And you guys are Seventh-day Adventists.
Yes.
So it goes back at least to your grandfather.
Yeah.
Do you know how far
generations?
Back it goes?
On my grandpa's side, maybe his parents were Adventists as well.
Okay.
I believe. So, yeah. So, anyways, he retired and just wanted to move back to Hickman County and buy a farm. So, bought 200 acres, and at the time, my parents were in Africa. In Kenya. I was born in Nairobi, Kenya. My sister was born there as well.
Do you remember when you left?
What year was that?
I was born in 93.
Okay.
And so they moved back to the U.S. in, I think, 95 or not, maybe end of 94.
You don't remember it?
Yeah. No, I don't. I was like a year older, 9 months or something like that.
Okay.
So anyways, my parents were both teachers. And so they eventually moved to the farm. Initially, it was like, no, we're never moving to, Timbuktu, Tennessee. But anyway, so a couple of years later, they moved and built a house on the farm. And my dad was just teaching at a small Christian school in the town about 30 minutes away from us. But then felt the Lord really calling him to doing something different. And so something more like, home-based. He wanted to be able to do something that us kids could be more involved in, and just having to leave early in the morning and not be home till late at night just wasn't fulfilling him and my mom at the time. And us kids were young at the time. My sister was probably 5 when he quit teaching, I'm thinking, maybe 6. And I would have been like 4, or 5. And so anyways, he quit teaching and did some odd jobs and stuff for a while, but then really felt impressed to start farming. And so that was kind of where the journey, it was 98, I believe, is when they started farming.
Did Paul's dad go in on that?
No, not initially. They were doing other stuff. They were in the mission field at the time, and they moved to the farm around, I don't even remember, but let me think. Probably 2008 or 9, I think. Yeah.
So grandpa was a missionary. Parents were a missionary.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
What happened to you?
Well,
Black sheep.
No, we spent when I was a teenager, we spent 3 months in Honduras doing mission work. It was kind of like we were helping at a mission down there, but also it was a bit of a sabbatical as well.
So, what year was that?
He's a youngin'. It's probably way after us.
2010.
Okay.
Oh.
We were in Honduras in 06, 07.
Okay.
For just 3 months.
I've been down there 3 different times. So I've had a little bit. I spent a couple weeks in Rwanda doing some, doing like an outreach mission thing. So I've done a little bit, but not like a lot of people in my family have spent like years of their life in different mission fields. Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
Yeah, so that was where it started, and my dad had the initial mission with the farm was to do organic strawberries. He kind of got exposed to that somehow and was like, man, if we can do organic strawberries. Of course, this was, before organic was really the rage that it is now, for sure. But like organic strawberries, and I think probably some of it had to do with the fact that strawberries are like one of the worst berries that you can get. They absorb the chemicals. So on like, what is it? The Dirty Dozen. They're like number 1, I think, is strawberries. Like if you buy strawberries, make sure they're organic, because otherwise they've got a lot of bad stuff in them. So anyways, that was the vision. And the first, so this kind of will tie into the first conversation about plastics, but the first year it was like, we're going to plant a bunch of strawberries. Like I think we did like a half an acre of strawberries, and we did no plastic. It was just directly in the dirt. And we literally, the weeds started taking over. Well, the funny thing was we were so knew nothing about farming. One of the locals had said something to my dad like, oh, the weeds will winter kill. And so we kind of didn't worry about the weeds initially, and we're expecting everything to die after the first frost. And like some stuff dies, but around us, like there's a lot of winter hardy weeds that do not die. And so we ended up spending like weeks and weeks and weeks out there weeding those strawberries, and ended up basically just kind of roping off half of the field and like, okay, we're just going to cut it off as a loss. Let's just see if we can control the weeds on this half. And I think we ended up like with 4 beds or something that we were able to like control the weeds. Everything else was just complete loss. But even after that, like the crop itself was awful because strawberries are very fragile. And so if they're directly in contact with the soil, they're no good. And you don't want to have to wash them after you've harvested. So it was a lot of challenges. We had a couple of years of strawberries, and then quickly realized that we needed to diversify, because there was on paper, strawberries, you can make a lot of money. Like it's a big cash crop and whatever, but it just, they're not the easiest thing to grow.
They're not.
So yeah, they started diversifying. We built our first greenhouse probably about maybe the third year. And essentially, initially, it was just like we have this huge rush in the spring with all these customers coming to pick and purchase strawberries. So let's sell like potted, plants. Let's sell like hanging baskets of flowers. Let's sell like, we had a little store where we sold like different craft stuff, and like, us kids would like crochet, pot holders like all winter long, and that type of thing. We just all these little hand goods, like, handmade like beeswax candles and just jams and just stuff like that. And it was pretty cool, honestly. And yeah, that's kind of where it started. So I mean, I could share more. How
many kids were there?
So in total, there's 5 of us kids. Yeah.
Did your dad make it? Did he be able to become a pro farmer?
Yeah, I mean, they're still farming. My parents, get their living off of farming, and 2 of my brothers are on the farm full time.
Oh, really?
With your parents?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of transitioned. Like, my younger brother and his wife kind of oversee and manage the farm half of the season, and then my dad and mom manage it the other half of the season. So they grow year round.
And do they use your weed fabric?
Yeah, they do.
You hook them up, you give them a good deal.
Yeah. They use quite a lot of it.
They use quite a lot of it.
They definitely, it's a mutually beneficial.
They got no qualms.
For Christmas, that's what they're getting.
Yeah,
weed fabric.
Exactly.
Silage tarps.
Yeah, they use it pretty extensively, and it's been a huge benefit for them the last few years. They've used it in the past. Like, so actually we like the second year started using woven fabric on the strawberries, and that was what we used for years, because it was you can't.
It was a game changer.
You can't grow strawberries without weed block.
And so you were able to do the whole half acre then, probably, or did you guys?
So why 200 acres if you're a vegetarian?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just say
2 acres
most
max.
of the farm is unused. There's a lot of forest and pasture lands. We could certainly do a lot more on the farm, but
yeah,
it's really.
So hilly. Are you guys based on the farm as well? You and your family? Okay, no.
No,
so why did you forsake the farm and didn't join your brothers there and just decided to sell farm stuff?
Yeah. Well, I was super entrepreneurial growing up. We were, my mom homeschooled all of us kids, so we were always on the farm, pretty involved in what was going on. And from a young age, my parents supported us and encouraged us to kind of dabble in our own little entrepreneurial endeavors. So it'd be like the farm was its own thing, but then my mom would always be like, okay, why don't you guys have a lemonade stand for the U-Pick customers? Or why don't you guys, we did, cookies. And so we made these big old cookies and sold them to all the customers. And so we always had little entrepreneurial like endeavors that we were dabbling with, and some did better than others. And, but that was just something that my parents encouraged. I think particularly my mom really encouraged us kids to do that. And it really just clicked for me. I always kind of I'm really like, I've been referred to as fiercely independent. I like to do my own thing, and I like to kind of get to call the shots. And in, when I was, I think I was about 13 is when Paul and like my aunt and uncle and their family moved to the farm, and a lot changed then. And there was certainly good aspects of it. My dad and his brother kind of formed a partnership, but it changed a lot on the farm. And that's probably when I started moving more of my focus into other things. I started doing a small engine repair. I was like fixing mowers and stuff for neighbors and doing different things like that. But I always loved the farming, and it wasn't like my goal was never to like forsake farming, or like, I don't want to have anything to do with farming. And if that was the case, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But I just really enjoyed making things and fabricating and welding and machining. And so I was always trying to figure out easier and better and more efficient ways to do things. And so that just kind of naturally, I mean, there's some sort of specific events that happened that led me to what I am doing with Farmer's Friend. But in general, my path away from like full-time farming just was my kind of insatiable desire to like do my own thing and entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yeah. What was the first thing you made related to Farmer's Friend?
For sale or just like for our own?
Just
yeah.
First thing you made and sold.
The first product was the Quick Cut Greens Harvester, which is a small, handheld device that allows you to mechanically be able to harvest salad greens.
That
greens
you fabricated or that you bought and sold?
No, we developed it.
You did?
Yeah.
So, and is that the one that does it have a drill on it?
Yeah, you use a drill to power it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go,
so that was what
year was that you started?
Started selling those in 2012, but started developing it probably in 2009 or 10. We had the opportunity to go visit Elliot Coleman's farm. So my dad and I and my uncle and Paul went to visit Elliot's farm. And while we were there, he picked up on my inventive streak or whatever and was like, man, you need to like develop this harvester for salad greens. And so I took that idea and was pretty fixated on it for a while. That's another one of my things is like, once I get something in my head, it's hard for me to like, give up. I just keep going on something. So I was, still in high school, so I didn't have a lot of time to commit, still working full time on the farm, but it was kind of a back burner project. And there's so many different like providential events that happened, but I got connected with an engineer, a retired engineer, who really kind of took me under his wing and helped me develop that product and take it to market. So that was 2012. We were selling that through Johnny's Selected Seeds, and that's kind of
that's where I've seen it.
Where it all started.
Wow.
So that was because you went to Elliot Coleman's.
Yeah.
And then what, like, were your mom and dad and like your uncle being like, hey, we really could use this.
Yeah. Well,
Get
sure.
started, buddy.
I mean, yeah, it was definitely like, I think to be honest, I'm pretty sure my dad had like mentioned it because at that time, I believe Elliot had already like wrote about this in a book, like, salad greens are really profitable, but harvesting them is way too labor intensive. And like, I think he had already publicly kind of talked about the fact that, somebody needed to develop this, and Johnny's had kind of a harvester for baby lettuce, but it was like, you had to manually like move it back and forth like this, and it didn't really work very well. And so there just wasn't a good solution. So I think I was already aware of that. And I believe my dad had already kind of like said, hey, you could work on this, but I just kind of shrugged it off. But then when we were there and he encouraged me, and I think he even said at the time, like, if you develop it, Johnny's will sell it, because he was a paid tool advisor for Johnny's at the time. And so he was able to kind of have that in. So nice. I think that put more, just put more pressure on.
How many days did you spend with Mr. Coleman?
I think we were on the farm for 2 days. Yeah.
You spent a good amount of time with him then.
Yeah.
For him to feel comfortable enough to tell you this.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. He's very open-minded about just like sharing ideas with people. So he had already tried to get a bunch of other people to work on it, and nobody had just been able to.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him since about?
Yeah.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask if he
knew.
He's seen the success of this tool.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he did for sure. So, yeah. I mean, I could tell stories for hours about it, but I mean, is there anything particular you want to go into on that? Because there's a lot of interesting stories of how that all came to fruition, I guess.
How many of those have you sold?
Last time I checked, it was like over 7,000.
Nice.
Wow.
So quite a few, but it's one of those things where it's not like a big enough demand that like.
Yeah. What's the paper pot planter? That did really well.
Yeah,
that's
so we
not
don't
you.
sell those. Yeah,
that's not you, but
that's a Japanese
you wouldn't know
product.
how much. Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, but like this is it for like your salad thing, your salad harvester.
Mm-hmm.
A market farm opens up, they buy it, they use it for forever. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things that they're going to need to come back and buy monthly or yearly even.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
I know. Unfortunately. But also like what an amazing story. Like you brought that to market and helped so many people.
Yeah. It has been a game changer for a lot of growers. Like it allowed you to harvest salad greens that you can sell for, I mean,
a lot.
Yeah, $8 to maybe $12 or more dollars a pound, depending on how you're selling it. But it's profitable. But harvesting it on your hands and knees with a knife and scissors, like I did a lot of that growing up, and that's just so time consuming.
Is a sale of 7,000 viral? Is that really good?
I don't know.
What's really good in the farming space? How many silage tarps have you sold?
A lot more than that.
So that's
because you got to have those.
Yeah, we've sold a lot more caterpillar tunnels than we've sold harvest.
Oh, really?
Wow. Okay, so you had the caterpillar tunnel that was like you just like raise up the sides, and it's not a crank or anything.
Yeah,
I remember looking at yours, and we almost bought yours.
Okay.
And I don't remember why I didn't. I think it's because I wanted the high sides we have now.
Right.
And you didn't have that. You only had the caterpillar tunnels at the same time. We have a good friend who's purchased a lot of them from you.
Okay.
Just east of here, about an hour.
Casey Ostwich.
Casey Ostwich Honey Tree Farm.
Yeah.
He knows him.
Yeah. And he's like decked his whole
farm he's
with all your stuff.
Yeah. We've done some filming at his place.
I really wanted them to move down the street so I could buy produce from them and not have to grow it.
Speaking of filming, you've made films, documentaries about different farmers who happen to use your stuff. Do you keep doing that? Are you still doing that?
We haven't done any recently, but it is in the plans to continue doing that.
Help? Did that help sales? That was kind of creative.
Yeah, I think it definitely helped to bring more awareness to our brand.
Some of those went viral.
Yeah, some of them did pretty well. Yeah, for sure. And I love creating that kind of content. Like our mission as a company is to inspire and educate and equip growers, essentially. And so the idea with those films was to try to inspire more people to get into farming. I mean, the reality is, I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but farming is dying in the US. Like we're importing more and more produce from other countries, billions of dollars of produce from other countries and from China and from, Mexico and everywhere. And so, and like the average age of farmers in the US is like 60s, I think.
Yeah.
And it's really sad to see. And so like, we want to play a role in hopefully, changing that direction. I think that, our take on it is that, a lot of these farms that are like dying are just like big row crop, like corn and soybeans and stuff. And that, from my perspective, is not really helpful in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it's not necessarily food
for
us.
So I think there's so much more that can be done. And I think the model that Elliott and JM and so many others have really helped to bring awareness to is so much more productive. And so anyways, that was kind of that was the goal with those films, is just not so much like going around and like marketing our product as much as just highlighting the stories of our customers. All of the farms that we've filmed around the world. Actually, we spent 5 weeks touring in Europe, and and that was all visiting customers of ours that are using our products. And so, we just wanted to tell their stories and highlight that. And some of them did really well. We have definitely cumulative multiple millions of views on those videos, and they still get views.
How do you have a distribution in Europe, or are you sending it from here to there?
No, it's just Europe is so many different languages and cultures, and it's just challenging. So we definitely have sold a lot in the past directly to European customers, but at this point most of our sales in Europe go through Terratech.
Okay.
How old were you when you did the harvester?
I was 19 when I started Farmer's Friend officially, and I was about 16 when 15 or 16 when I visited Elliott's farm and kind of originally started the idea.
I take it you skipped college.
I did.
Good. Did you know that was a good thing, or was that controversial at the time?
It wasn't controversial. My parents were supportive of that. They were supportive.
Did your siblings go to college?
No, I think, some of them have done college courses. I haven't,
right.
I guess probably the closest would be, one of my brothers is a avionics mechanic. So he works at an airport doing like stuff like, so he did go through like a couple years of like getting his, some licenses to do.
I was just wondering if you're like, if your family was like mostly college like your siblings mostly college graduates, or you know.
Certainly, like not my siblings, but certainly like aunts and uncles and cousins and whatever. Like our family kind of broke the mold, I guess I would say, for the family.
Were y'all homeschooled too?
Yeah, we were all homeschooled. Yep. Yeah.
Do you homeschool your kids?
My oldest is 4, so
I was gonna say I don't think they're old enough yet.
Do you plan on doing
just
that?
yesterday, I came home and my wife was like, James is starting to learn some adding. He was like, what's 2 + 2? And he was like, so we're like at that level, just barely getting started. I told her like, well, if he's showing interest, like let's push it a little bit, but like we're definitely not to the point where we're trying to like do any kind of formal school.
Did you do formal school?
No. Well, yeah, I think definitely not formal school. My mom definitely tried to have a curriculum and follow some structure, and we did follow like we did Math UC math programs and like
we do Math UC
stuff like that. We did go through some.
Yeah, we've used it. I should say I wouldn't say that my kids are like hardcore.
I mean, I remember doing like some science stuff through like, was it Bob Jones University or something?
Probably.
Like that? Yeah, like
man.
JU.
So you didn't have any Seventh-day Adventist curriculum stuff, huh?
Probably not. Honestly,
I bet there's some now.
There should be, but there isn't.
There's so much curriculum.
Yeah. So I think there's probably a lot more resources now than there was then. But yeah, so we had some sort of structure to it, and we tended to, have a block of time in the morning where we did school, but we were never doing like 8 hours of school a day. I mean, it was mostly like 3 or 4 hours of school in the morning and then farm work all afternoon. That was kind of what it tended to be. And then that definitely got
farm work in the heat, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah, we experimented with a lot of different things. Of course, we were farming year round. We've pretty much always farmed year round. So,
What are they farming right now on the farm? What are they working on right now?
Well, there's a lot of stuff going. I mean, they do.
It's February for those that don't know.
Yeah. They do, lettuce year round. They've got, tomatoes in the greenhouses already.
Really?
And, stuff like that. So
are they heated greenhouses?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to be like.
Well, I mean, they do supplemental heat just to try to
when
get.
They need it.
Because it's like with, a lot of stuff like tomatoes, particularly, if you can have them a few weeks before anybody else, it's worth a lot.
And you don't live on the farm anymore.
For a tomato lover.
Yeah.
You don't live on the farm.
I don't.
Because you're Mr. Independent.
I am pretty independent. The farm started getting pretty populated with family and family.
Because the brother came.
Yeah.
Who else came?
Your dad's brother.
Yeah, my cousin and some couple of cousins and some of their family and stuff like that. And it's not like there's any. I mean, we all get along great, but I wanted my own space. And then we had to move the business to more of an industrial area because we had grown to a point of needing more space. And so, but we're 20 minutes away. So we go over there weekly. And at this point I'm doing a lot of, quite a lot of content with my dad, videos, educational stuff. And so we're on the farm quite regularly.
Do you come up or do they ever come to you and be like, could you make this for us? And then you develop it and then they test it out for you and then tweak it and that sort of thing. That's probably very handy
it's
for
definitely,
you and them.
It's definitely happened. Yeah.
What has come from that? Besides the harvester. Yeah,
the harvester, we did a lot of testing on the farm. We did, recently we launched something that they've been using, which is a little dibbler for doing their salanova. So they do a lot of salanova and they grow it in 200 cell trays. And we have this little dibbler that you can hook into a drill and it just allows you to like really quickly, punch holes in the ground to just drop the plugs.
Okay.
So little stuff like that. Honestly, I've kind of, in a way, like gone, like for instance, when I started dabbling with the idea of bringing on caterpillar tunnels, my dad was not really, he didn't think it was the best idea.
Really?
So I was like, I think we'll just try it. I think I think there might be something here. So he's had to obviously eat those words, but they've been super supportive.
Because now he has caterpillar tunnels.
How many caterpillar tunnels
he
does he have?
Utilize some caterpillar tunnels. Yep. But we've sold thousands. Yeah. So it's been interesting, but yeah, I mean, kind of, maybe backtracking a little bit. So, I started when I was 19 and had supportive parents, but my parents, neither one of them were like had finance degrees or like business degrees or anything like that. Like, and I didn't have anybody directly around me that was, other than my parents, that was really like in business. And of course, this was even like early days of like YouTube University and stuff like that. So it wasn't a ton of resources. I did not know what I was doing. I was trying to manufacture the greens harvesters myself. So we weren't outsourcing that. So we literally had a shop and like we're trying to machine the components from like raw aluminum blocks and like building these things. And I really got in way over my head because Johnny's had initially told me they thought they would sell maybe 150 a year. And we sold 150 within the first 3 months and we could not keep up. And it was a battle. I was like hiring some help and it was a battle for sure. And so what ended up happening is that 2 years in, almost exactly 2 years from when we launched it, I got a call from the product and tools manager at Johnny's, which I have no hard feelings for the guy. He was awesome. He supported me. He like took a huge risk on like a 19-year-old kid, but he called me up and said like, we're going to have to discontinue the product. And I'm like gutted, I feel like, okay, I've failed at this, like one attempt I had at like maybe something, making something great, so I was pretty down and, but pretty quickly realized that we actually had a pretty big opportunity in front of us because Johnny's had just printed like over 1 million catalogs for the upcoming growing season with a half-page ad on the quick cut greens harvester in it. And so I like called him back and I'm like, so you guys aren't reprinting the catalogs, are you? He's like, no, but once we sell out, if people ask about it, we can just send them directly to you if you want us to. And I was like, let's do that.
Yeah.
So I like spun up a Shopify site and this was early 2015. And I think I got my very first direct customer order in February of 2015. So that's really where Farmer's Friend started, because before that it was just a product that Johnny's was selling. But interestingly enough, it was always kind of my vision to have a company that sold direct to consumer. I just felt like the Johnny's opportunity was like the way to get started. But yeah, there was so many ups and downs. Like I literally was scraping by financially, like not making money the first couple of years, and but the Lord blessed. And then at that point, kind of at the end of 2015 is when the business was actually doing pretty well because we sold more harvesters that year than we had sold either of the previous years with Johnny's. They kind of bailed out like right as we were figuring things out. So we like had the manufacturing pretty figured out at that point. And so we were
they bailed because you couldn't keep up.
They bailed because what I was told, I think there was maybe a little bit of behind the scenes like political stuff going on at the time, but what I was told is mostly because of the fact that it was out of stock so frequently.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were just not able to keep up. So it was, out of the first 2 years, it was probably out of stock like 50+% of the time.
You keep saying who's we at this time?
Well, so I say we a lot. I don't know why, but that's just there's
you,
always,
Father, Son, the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. There's always been more than just me. Even from day one, I had hired a friend of mine who had just graduated from machining school. And so, it's always been me and my team.
You've always been a we?
So does Johnny still sell it or no?
No.
Okay.
They have to come to you to get it. There's no competitor?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
so all the harvesters out there are from you.
Any ones that look like the one we have, yeah.
There's only one.
Like cloth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's only one.
Did you know that was him?
I did not know that was you.
Okay. Yeah, that was our first product.
I mean, I've seen it a lot because just following market farmers.
Sure, it's pretty common.
I get fed a lot of like farming content just in general.
I mean, there isn't anything else out there that solves that problem at this point. Well, I shouldn't say that entirely. Like at the time when I launched it, the closest thing to it was like a walk behind harvester that a company out of California made. I don't know if it was made in California, but anyways, they sold it, but it was like $10,000 or $12,000.
It's probably because yours was a lot less expensive.
Yeah, we started at I think it was $4.95 when we first started selling it. It should have been higher because that was one of my first mistakes, is not pricing it right.
This was selling too much.
Yeah, we should have. Yeah, it should have been higher. I wasn't making money. So anyways,
we all make mistakes in the early years.
Yeah. But that's when it really turned around, is when Johnny's was no longer taking the cut of the profits and I was getting 100%. I was like, oh, okay, this is what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah. What was your first Shopify site? What was its name?
It was Farmer's Friend LLC.
How'd you come up with Farmer's Friend?
I don't know. It just seemed like it fit. We from the beginning, the mission was to help farmers, be able to, it's like farming is hard, and that's why most people aren't in it. And so the goal from day one for Farmer's Friend, and for me, my whole childhood was how to make it easier and how to, reduce as much of the just backbreaking labor of farming as possible. I was doing that on our farm before Farmer's Friend was even a thought,
Mm-hmm.
So my mom told the story and I remember it, but I was young. I was I think 9 years old, and we had this self-propelled Kubota lawnmower. It was, just a small walk behind, it was like a push mower, but it had actually a pretty substantial self-propelled aspect to it. And so I was at the age where they were I was mowing the yard, but I was not tall enough to even reach the top handle. So I'm holding on to the bottom handle, but I took one of my Tonka trucks and tied it to the back of the mower to where I could stand on it like a little sulky, because I'd seen all the landscaping guys riding on their little sulkies. And so yeah, my mom was doing the dishes, and she looks out the window, and I just go vroom, riding past. She's like, what in the world? So that, I was always trying to figure out easier ways of doing things to take out the walking, so to speak.
So you're the first son, because you just have one older sister.
Yeah, my sister's older. Yep.
Okay. Because you're second born, but you're also the first son. So you're really a firstborn son.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing how.
Yeah. A lot of people
Parents got two firstborns.
I know. They got
a lot of people
firstborns.
that, initially when they get to know our family, kind of assume that I'm the firstborn. But yeah, my sister's older. She's 2.5 years old.
And then how many are behind you?
4. Well, 3.
3, 4, 5. There's 5 of you.
5.
Does Seventh-day Adventists have a lot of kids?
No, I wouldn't say that's a trait of. It's not no
Catholics.
Or 5
Protestants.
Yeah, 5 kids is pretty unusual.
Okay.
Okay.
And you said for the most part, in your inner family, this wasn't strange to be entrepreneurial or to live off the land, but
yeah,
extended from that, maybe you guys were a little different.
I guess what I mean by that is my parents were doing, entrepreneurship, and they were encouraging us. And so I wasn't going against the grain of what my parents were doing or encouraging us to do or whatever. I obviously have heard stories of people who their parents are trying to force them to go to college and stuff, and they're just going against the grain. But as far as just cousins and stuff, all my cousins are going to college and, doing stuff like that. Not in entrepreneurship. With the exception of Paul. Paul did his own business.
Mm-hmm. With the exception of Paul, when did you realize you were different than the world?
I don't know. I don't think I'm that different. Maybe I am. I don't know.
It's not normal that you get inspired to be an entrepreneur.
I think I'm just a real driven person, and I don't know.
Well, your whole family. It sounds like it's your whole family. Your whole family is entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
How many of your siblings are entrepreneurs?
Well, I guess you could say that they all are in a way, but not. I don't know. 2 of my brothers are on the farm, and so they're and particularly my youngest brother seems pretty passionate about figuring out how to do stuff better and how to make the farm more profitable and efficient and stuff like that. But they're definitely investing a lot into that. But I don't know. I just come at it from a different angle of, I guess, just my mom always kind of teased me about like never being content. You know, for me, it's like, I don't know that I would ever, like I would be content just like growing 2 acres. Like I would always be like, let's expand, let's go bigger. Like, oh, there's this big, you know, commercial like contract that we could get growing thousands of heads of lettuce, you know, every week or what. That would just be my natural tendency, is just to kind of like, what's the next thing, build it. And so I guess I'm just a little more, I don't know if the right word would be just, I don't think maybe driven, but anyways, I just kind of maybe have a bigger vision for what I want to do. But
are you happy?
Yeah, I love what I do. I absolutely love it. And I'm in a position now where I'm not like so tied to the business that I can't, you know, spend time with my family and stuff.
That's like the we aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
We met his brother, remember? He's installed the greenhouse.
The younger brother was here.
Yeah, Caleb
and
was
some
here.
friend or something. Or was it a cousin?
Some guy. It was somebody that just helps us do installations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is your grandfather who bought the 200 acres still alive?
He passed away last year.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We got to see it all.
How did it go from the grandpa doctor to doing this in retirement to this entrepreneurial spirit?
Say that again.
The farm got started
because of
from somebody in retirement.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily an entrepreneurial.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the entrepreneurial stuff just came from my parents, you know, they're just trying to make it in small business. Like, I don't know if my parents had just continued to follow the career path of being teachers. I mean, maybe it's still in me somewhere, but I also just feel like growing up on the farm, being homeschooled, not being kind of forced into the mold of traditional education and everything, like no doubt helped to develop in me kind of this like entrepreneurial spirit. Like just, I think that there's no doubt in that. I mean, I may have still had that if I had been in a more of a traditional upbringing, but I think that growing up on the farm and being homeschooled, no doubt, you know, was fuel to the fire.
Do you think that an entrepreneur is born, or do you think they're made?
I think that there's a certain part of it that you just have to be, I think a certain part of it's got to be just innate, you know, something that you're born with. But certainly like learning how to run a business is something that is not just innate.
It's not. It's not.
I mean, there maybe is like an innate desire to do the thing and to like build something and to
solve a problem.
You know, solve a problem. Yeah, exactly. Like the problem solving side of business and like overcoming challenges and hurdles like that. So that's the kind of stuff that I love and enjoy. But Mercy, I've made so many mistakes that have cost a lot of money, a lot more than what it would have cost me to get an MBA. But the problem is the MBA doesn't solve. Like I probably would have still ended up making a lot of those mistakes. So
yeah, Justin and I
definitely would. We both went to business school,
and now business is just. We graduated in 2001, and business is just done differently.
Sure,
it's not done the way it was then.
Exactly.
You know, we're at the end of the 90s, coming into the 2000s. It just was different. Like the internet was just starting.
Yeah, now with I mean, it was crazy before what we could do with Google.
Yeah.
But now we have AI and it can just be so custom and individual and answers in seconds. I don't see why you would.
Yeah. I don't ever regret not going to college. I have been asked like, you know, I don't know, would you do anything different, or like, would you do anything different with your kids? I think that the one area where I would have benefited a lot is if I had more education or training in the area of financial management.
But you could still do that.
Well, sure. And I have. I guess what I'm saying is like from like
as a child.
Yeah. As like going into business, I went in with minimal understanding of like how to run the finances of a business. And that is where I got, you know.
I agree with you on that, but that was the first thing we outsourced.
Yeah.
Bookkeeping.
Yep. And I outsourced the bookkeeping.
We knew we're bad at it.
Right. And that was our first hire.
Yep. Yeah. And that's, that certainly is good, but there's a lot more to, understanding what your overhead is, like understanding, like I was notorious for,
is a little different than ours.
Yeah. I was notorious for being like, okay, how much does it cost me to make one of these harvesters? And I would like start a stopwatch and like hit the stop button as soon as I finish the thing and be like, okay, well, I need to factor in, $15 an hour for this. So it's going to cost that much for this piece or whatever. And then you add it all up and it's like, okay, it's going to cost me $100 to make the thing or whatever. But the reality is, like, there's a lot of other time, like when you're, driving to UPS store, or when you're on the phone with customers, or when you're like, you can't just like, look at that narrow picture. There's the overhead, there's the, and so, I don't know. I didn't have enough understanding of that. And so like, I literally did not make money the first 2 years.
I don't think a lot of people do.
Well, then why did you keep going?
It wasn't necessarily just about the money. I mean, I kept going because I'm not a quitter. I don't give up.
You're not a loser. Well, you then
why not?
To Johnny, but he ended the Johnny Seeds ended, and it started becoming direct to consumer for him.
That was a big one. I mean, we did. So I think we were kind of locked in for like, it was an annual contract with Johnny's, and so I did get a little bit of I did go back to them and negotiate a little bit of a price increase on the second year, but still wasn't really enough. So then on the third year, when I was getting full retail for every sale, and we were selling more than we'd sold previous years, that's when it was more profitable. And we also started outsourcing some of the manufacturing to other local shops, because I realized like we cannot physically produce all the components that we need to in our own shop. So we went to some local machine shops down the road and stuff like that to start outsourcing it.
Do you still produce all of it, or do you completely outsource the manufacturing?
It depends on which product line you're specifically referring to. Specifically the harvester, we do everything ourselves now.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually outsourced for a while and then brought that back in-house. And I would still say that's true, although there's a little bit of a caveat to that, in that we actually have a separate company now that's doing the manufacturing that I still own. It's just kind of like two sister companies. Yeah. So, but yeah, we do all the machining, welding, and fabrication and stuff for the harvesters.
Is the goal to sell one day?
No, not anytime soon.
You're enjoying yourself?
I enjoy it. I love what I do.
What time do you get up in the morning?
That varies a lot. I do not have a good rhythm. This morning I got up at 4:30.
Okay. That's because you drove 7
It just
hours.
Depends. Like honestly,
how far is this? 5, 6,
6 hours?
Yeah.
6. Okay.
I would like to be in a better rhythm, but we have 3 kids, that are 2.5 years apart. So life is I don't get to sleep. Like actually, I spent.
You're gonna wake up.
I think I spent the last 4 hours of the night in the bed in a twin bed with my son. So that's where
that was last night.
That's where I woke up this morning. So it's like, I don't get through a night, so it just depends on the night,
That's funny. Yeah. We were done with all that. And then we were like, let's have another kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's God's trick. You start sleeping through the night, feeling good
like,
again. And
I think I can have another kid.
But I mean, to answer the question, like I generally am out of the house headed to work about between 7 and 7:45 in the morning.
And the first thing you think about in the morning is it what?
I'm generally thinking about work most waking hours.
Yeah.
It's something that I need to try to work on because I'm so driven with the work that I, even like if I'm home playing with the kids or,
I get it.
I can sometimes just still be thinking about, work.
Definitely.
So, but I mean, I have a big enough and solid enough team now, and I'm not actively involved in the day-to-day operations. So like I lead all of our engineering team, like product development team, and I'm heavily involved in the marketing and content creation side of it. But I'm not involved in the operational side of the shop. So the whole warehouse operations and all of the inventory and shipping and stuff like that goes through a team that reports to me, but it's like completely independent.
Those are the things you're not as interested in?
Not necessarily. I really could love all aspects of the business. I just have had to delegate and release that, or else it's kind of like we never would have been able to get to the point where we are.
Where do you find these people?
All over. We haven't had too much trouble.
Do official job postings?
Hiring people, but yeah, we hire through Indeed oftentimes. It just
they're moving to Hickman County.
A lot of our employees now live, are from the area, but we have had some that move. Our warehouse.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, our warehouse operations manager moved from Ohio.
How many employees you got?
About 35 now.
You feel a lot of pressure?
I really don't stress too much. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. There certainly has been times where there's been tremendous pressure.
You guys carry a lot of debt?
No, we don't carry any debt on the.
Is that a stick?
A stick?
Is that a stick for you not to do debt?
Not really. I'm not totally anti-debt. We have, debt on like our real estate assets, but like we don't use any like line of credits for like inventory and stuff like that. So we just.
So you own all the inventory outright. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's a huge cash suck.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But
are you sitting on some inventory that's really old?
No, it's
not going
we
anywhere.
Turn through our inventory pretty quickly. So where it gets expensive is stuff like Silage Sharp, where it's $50,000 for a container, and we have to keep multiple containers in stock because of 4-month lead times on stuff.
Yeah.
When's your busiest? Spring busiest time?
Busiest time, yeah. Right now it starts to pick up for us, and then it'll kind of peak in March and April, and by June it'll be slow again.
Okay.
Does it pick up again at Christmas? Christmas gifts or not really?
Not
this
really.
Is not really Christmas gifty.
I mean, I'm sure you're probably still selling throughout the growing season, but just not
it's
at
just
the
like
great.
I guess what I would say is like June is typically like one of our slowest months of the year, and in June we'll do about, on average, I would say like a third of the sales that we do in like March and April.
Okay.
Is this a big problem?
It's challenging because just that much seasonality does create some challenges with, managing team. And we've tried to not hire like seasonal workers. So we try to keep everybody employed year round. And like with very few exceptions, we have been able to do that. So in the summer months when we're a bit slower, the team works on a lot of like improvement projects and, it's kind of like what went well, what didn't go well, let's fix it for the next busy season. And we encourage our team to like take their vacation time.
I was going to say
summer, it's like,
well, that's good.
Highly encouraged, take your vacation time in the summer when things are slow. We give quite a little bit of liberty in people taking like unpaid time off, because there's not as much to do, but there's always something to do. There's always orders going out. So, it just gets slow, but yeah, the spring for us can be, insane.
Is that why you were just in Costa Rica? Was that a vacation before the busyness?
Yeah, that was busy season.
Or were you doing were you doing business over there?
I was working some. Yeah. We were in Puerto Rico and,
workcation.
It was like my wife originally, I was like, oh, let's go for a week. And she was like, can we go longer? And I'm like, if you're going to be okay with me working a few hours every day, we can go longer.
Yeah.
So
then you can expense it all.
Yeah. Well,
I trapped you.
Yeah, probably not. Depends on how much you want to play in the gray area. Yeah. But I was working a few hours every day. But it's still great, because you're just
out. Can we go longer?
You're out of your normal like rhythms at home, and you can still go to the beach every evening, every afternoon.
So you went to Puerto Rico, not Costa Rica.
Puerto Rico, yeah. Puerto Rico's
the new Costa Rica.
I mean, I don't know. It's nice. I mean, it's.
You don't know anything.
Yeah, it's easy.
Nobody take that for what he just said.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Anything.
Yeah. It sounds good. Yeah. I mean, it's Puerto Rico is easy to travel to because you don't have to use a passport or anything like that. It's easy to get in and out of because it's U.S. territory, and it's very inexpensive to get there. Like you can get flights for really inexpensive.
How was it traveling with 3 children?
Well, I mean, they travel fine. It's just all of the paraphernalia that comes along. 3 car seats and
because they're all little.
Yeah, so
it's
but no, it was fun.
Yeah, we took our Jonah in our car seat to Honduras, and we went to the taxi that was scheduled to pick us up.
Yes.
And we look in there and we don't see no place for a car seat.
No
we try to tell this guy, and we didn't speak any Spanish. And he just looked at us and goes,
yeah.
Just hold the baby.
I had to hold him for, well, I didn't.
You know how the roads are in Honduras.
Sure.
No lines.
Yep.
He passed
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember some of the craziest bus rides of my life in Honduras.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go in Honduras?
I don't even remember the name of the town. It was a very rural area, like 3 or 4 hours from San Pedro Sula.
Okay.
Is it? Yeah, like up in the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it what's
San
the big
Pedro
city? Yeah,
Sula is the one big, and then Tegucigalpa.
So how do you keep 30?
Is it Tegucigalpa?
Yeah, it is.
And we went to Guaymaca, which was a little orphanage. It's not a little orphanage; it's a large orphanage out there.
Cool,
but it's like 2 hours.
I love traveling. Like, so I don't know. It just kind of resets your perspective when you get out and see different cultures and how fortunate we have it.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, you need to make that phone call.
Somebody wants me to go to Africa. I'm not so sure.
Oh, Africa was
nowhere on my radar. Why do you say it's great?
Have you been to Africa?
It's just it's a totally different experience. Like Africa's where in Africa?
Some new country.
Eswatini.
Used to be Swaziland.
It used to be Swaziland.
Oh, interesting.
It's down south near South Africa.
I don't know much about that, but I've been in Rwanda. Rwanda's obviously got some pretty dark history, but as a society, they're obviously super resilient.
Have you been back to Kenya?
I have. Yeah, went back to Kenya. In I don't remember but I think. Anyways, about 10 years ago.
Do you get any malaria or new parasites?
No. We did. I did take the malaria. I think the vaccines or whatever.
It would have been a malaria pill that you take every day. I don't think that.
No, I don't think I did that. Yeah,
I don't.
Maybe it was like a yellow fever.
Yellow fever is a vaccine that
some of them countries you had to take.
I did get really sick while I was in Rwanda. I was in the hospital for a couple of days.
Oh, fun.
I don't know what I had, but I was so out of it. I don't even remember it. Yeah, but it was. Pretty nasty.
I don't know. I think we should talk to the guy. I'm not going.
Yeah. I mean,
it's easy to send me in there.
I mean, it's a cool experience. Like, especially if you can go to on a safari or the Kenya was really fun going back. I mean, obviously I was born there. So there was some, nostalgia going back. We were able to visit some people that knew my parents and remembered. In fact, this was funny memories, probably not interesting to the viewers, but we go visit these people and they had named one of their kids Dysinger. This is pretty common in Africa, because my family had really helped sponsor some of them through school or whatever. So the Dysinger family was really,
So they named their son that.
They named their kid Dysinger
after y'all.
Yeah, his first name was Dysinger. I love it. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So, but it's
was that easy for them to say?
I mean, obviously they say it with a little bit of a accent, but. It's just a way, I guess, that they honor people or remember people or whatever. But yeah, certainly safari in Kenya, and then the Mombasa is on the coast there, and so there's you can go there and ride camels on the beach and go snorkeling and stuff. It's beautiful.
We have friends in Uganda right now. They've been there for a couple of years. They're trying to get back, but it hasn't worked out yet. So. Cool. They adopted a child.
Okay.
And I don't know what's going on.
Lots of hoops probably.
Yeah. And the hoops are closing because of immigration stuff with the US, and
that's unfortunate.
It's been a lot for them. So it's hard because they don't know when they're coming back and all that. But I'm you should at least call the guy and have a conversation. I'm not saying go. I'm not pushing you out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just think I want him to take our big boys. Because you said, you just get a different viewpoint. When we lived in Honduras, we had such a different viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
We just had.
And you were over there 3 months. It was a big part of your life.
Yeah. It's huge. It molded a lot of. It actually is the reason we farm. We lived on the farm there at the orphanage. The orphanage has a farm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they
made us want to have chickens.
He did. He was in charge of the chickens, the meat chickens.
Interesting.
When the day we got there on a Saturday, and they had him. in charge of the meat chickens that just got there, like 1,000 of them. And he saw it through to, harvesting them. And then he also collected the eggs, and he worked with the boys on the orphanage, and I worked with the special needs girls at the orphanage. It was a very molding time for us, if you will.
Yeah, I just think international travel is super, like if you have an opportunity to do it, I think it's worth doing. Especially your boys are at a great age for that. They'll remember it the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I recently, actually just in beginning of December, had the opportunity to go to China and Taiwan.
Oh, wow.
So I was gone for about 10 days in China and Taiwan, which was really neat. I had the opportunity to go with a friend who is also a business owner, and he actually lived in Taiwan and China also, and would spoke the language fluently. So that was a neat experience.
What's China like?
It's the mind-boggling thing is just how many people and how large the cities are there. I mean, it's just incredible. You just go for miles and miles of just like high-rise apartment complexes, just wild forever. And just the other thing that blew my mind was the scale of covered greenhouse growing space in China. I mean, there's actually some really interesting articles out there that I've seen since then. Like NASA's actually been able to use like satellite imaging to kind of like track and monitor like the use of greenhouses and covered growing space. And I think it was 61% of the world's covered growing spaces in China. Might have even been higher than that, but it's insane the amount of greenhouses they use in China.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Why were you there?
So the friend I went with was specifically going to visit some manufacturers that manufacture some product that he's looking to import. I took the opportunity to visit some vendors that we work with. We have one vendor that we work with in China. It's a greenhouse manufacturer. We buy some brackets and stuff from them. And that's only been actually in the last like couple of years. Previously, we've been sourcing it domestically, but we were honestly, the crazy thing is we were actually legitimately having quality issues with our U.S. vendor on some parts. Just couldn't get good quality, and this vendor sent us some samples, and it's just impeccable quality. And they're just, I mean, it's like I'm all for.
Not always that.
I'm all for U.S. Manufacturing. Obviously, we do as much of it as we can, but there's certain things that I can't do, or I can't easily do. And we have a vendor in Taiwan that we've used for a number of years for some wire formed parts, and they're just incredible to work with. They're so on top of it. You send them a request for a quote, or you send them a new drawing, and they just like, they're on it, and they'll get you samples and DHL. You can get the stuff in, a week. And it's just, I don't know. They're a pleasure to work with. And I know there's a lot of controversy about that, but it's cool to go and visit them though, because these are just, mom and pop companies, just like we have here. Like the company we work with in Taiwan, it's literally the guy, from the time he was 15 has been learning this trade and started his own business 15 years ago. And, his wife does all the finances and stuff for the company, and he does all the programming. They have like 5 or 6 employees that run all the equipment. It's just neat to go and like see how they run their business. And it was a really cool experience. Yeah. But it's a very different culture.
How long was that flight? It's like a real long time.
Yeah. It was 38 hours of travel from the time I left my house to when I got to Jinan. Is northern China. But yeah, air pollution is awful there. But just a lot of people. A lot of people.
What percentage do you manufacture in the US and versus international?
I mean, I could literally name off all of the things that we buy internationally, and it's not that many of them. The landscape fabric, again, there's no manufacturers in the US that I have ever been able to find or that I'm aware of. So that comes from India currently.
But you put the holes in it. We
do. Yeah. So we do all the processing of it for burning the planting holes and the patterns and all that. But it's very few, all the steel components for the metal pipes and stuff, that's all US manufactured steel. And so, I mean, most of it is domestic. Now we have enough products now that, irrigation, a lot of, some of the irrigation fittings and stuff is produced in like Mexico and stuff but I don't know as far as like the products that we actually produce ourselves, it's majority, domestic.
I mean, that's considered North America still, isn't it? In Mexico?
Yeah, sure. That's North America. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to buy what you can. I mean, if you can't buy it in the
sure.
US,
I don't know. My approach on like international trade has probably changed. I'm all supportive of, US as much as possible, but there's certain things that unfortunately are like we've just moved away from. I mean, in our small town where we live in Centerville, there's 50 years ago, not even that long ago, but certainly 50 years ago, we had a massive Levi jeans facility there. So a huge percentage of the town there was, worked at Levi plant. And the other plant that was also huge and employed a huge majority of the population there was YKK. They did like buttons and zippers and everything. And I think that was like the Levi's and YKK were kind of like working together, like, and there's literally a rural small town in America. But like if they were to come back and try to do that in the US, like they're not going to find, hundreds of employees like they had back then to make buttons in Centerville, Tennessee. So there's just certain things that like have been completely outsourced to other countries. And even if we tried to bring it back to the US, I think we'd struggle with that. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's a whole topic, but I think the farmer's friend philosophy is we try to do as much as we can ourselves. And when we can't do it ourselves, we try to source locally. And when we can't do that, we source internationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have the tariffs affected you at all?
Yes.
Getting overseas?
Yeah, we got hit with tariffs pretty bad for from the Netherlands. We the Netherlands is a huge player in the like greenhouse space. And so the clipper trellising system comes from the Netherlands.
Oh wow.
And so we got hit with 50% tariffs on that.
Is that why it's so much more expensive?
We did have to raise our prices, 20% maybe because of the tariffs.
But there's a 50% tariff. So who then makes up the rest of the 30%?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that like if our cost of goods sold for the product goes up by 50%, we don't necessarily have to raise our retail price 50%.
Okay.
But
I see.
So the actual sale price went up something like 20% maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's one of them. And then India has been tariffed pretty heavily. So yeah, so I'm sure we don't want to get into politics.
No.
Right.
We all have our opinions.
Yeah.
And we don't know who's really right.
Yeah, for sure. It's just interesting how the last year has gone.
Yeah.
And not how I think a lot of people hoped it was going to go. So
yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. You're going to have 2 more kids?
We're actively having conversations.
Not today, because
did you want to have a large family like you came from? Like that's.
I think both me and my wife want to have more kids.
How many did she come from? Like her family?
She just has one brother.
Okay,
so there's just 2. So when she was younger, she wanted to have a dozen kids. So we're definitely not. We needed to start a lot earlier.
How old are you? You just look like a.
Well, I know, but like I feel like families that have a dozen kids like have their first
started
win,
like 18,
18, 19, 20.
We were
for a dozen. It's a lot.
I think 25 when she had our firstborn. No, it would have been older than that, 26 or 7.
That's how old we were.
I was 28, I think, when I had James.
She's going to watch this and be like, you got that totally wrong. Let me think about this. James is 4.
Fact checker.
So she actually would have been 28, I think, when he was born.
She come from a similar background?
Yeah. Different background, and that she grew up in a much more traditional household of her dad's a nurse, so he worked an 8 to 5 kind of job at the hospital.
She homeschooled.
She was homeschooled mostly and grew up Seventh-day Adventist as well. Yeah.
Where did you meet?
That's a kind of a crazy story.
Do you think it all has to be a crazy story for homeschool kids, especially growing up on a farm?
I don't know. I mean,
to meet a spouse.
I guess when I say crazy story, it goes so far back that my grandpa, my mom's dad, was the dean of Abby's dad in high school.
Oh wow!
So
you've known her for a long time.
Our families have known each other for a long time, since before.
So were they surprised when you and Abby got together, or were they like, "Oh, really?"
It was a pretty big surprise, yeah, because neither one of us had really shown any interest in each other.
Were you exposed to each other?
We were, yeah. From the time we were about 10 or 12.
Wow.
We were quite connected with their family. They would come down and visit the farm.
And nobody saw that.
A couple of times a year. She's a little bit older than I.
Okay.
Not by much. I mean, less than a year.
Oh.
And
when you're young, that's a big deal. Though,
yeah, exactly. She was this mature, goody, and I was this young, reckless, crazy, wild kid.
Yeah.
And, I think she even told her mom at one point, like, I would never marry Jonathan or something like that. I was pretty hot-headed and obnoxious when I was young. So that it definitely was a surprise. And I really, neither one of us were really interested in each other. And I had another girl that I had been interested in for a long time, and then actually dated for 2 years. And then when that ended, I kind of took a year of no interest in girls. Just kind of like, that's when I went to Kenya and Rwanda and just like kind of did a little bit of a reset in my life. And then I had some friends, and actually my mom and sister were both kind of like encouraging me to pursue Abby. So that's how it started.
And how old were you guys when you got married?
25.
Okay.
Well, we were both 25.
Okay. Started dating at 23?
Actually, we only dated from the time we started dating till the time we got married was just over a year.
Okay.
So that's handy. Family, friends. So
yeah. And that was the thing. I was like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend like a year long, like from dating to getting married, but we had known each other for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
like we immediately basically started having conversations about like, what do you want in life? That type of, there wasn't any like getting to know each other on like a shallow level. It was just straight to the deep stuff,
Yeah, that's nice.
I would say if Justin and I hadn't started dating at 16, we probably would have gotten married really fast and everyone would have freaked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
so you guys started dating at 16
and 17, and it was 5.5 years because we went to college.
Yeah. We should have gotten married at 18.
We should have gotten married at 18 and not gone to college. And I mean, we would have done things a lot differently. I wouldn't have gotten married in the church. We had just gotten married here on the farm and had a potluck for our reception, just all these little things that are now more really who we are.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, everybody's entitled to change.
I know. Well, I mean, we knew we wanted to get married probably within a month of starting dating. Yeah. We were like, I think this is it. Like we both felt very confident in that. And that's why I say like if we had started dating at 18, we probably would have gotten married within like 3 or 4 months and people would have freaked out.
I mean, we've definitely had that conversation of like, man, wouldn't it have been cool if we had like started dating, because like both of us kind of, she actually went to California and worked at a college out there. She's a music teacher. And so, she was doing her thing. Like I was pursuing this other relationship and doing my business. And so like, we actually didn't really have a whole lot of connection other than seeing each other real infrequently at an event or something, for like a number of years, 5 or 6 years. And so, yeah, the thought has definitely, man, what if we had been interested in each other when we were 18, 19? But,
then you could have had those dozen kids.
Exactly. We could have had 12 kids. So we're just going to have to settle for 6 now. No, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, we're at that stage where our kids are teenagers. And so that kind of sneaks up on you. And because we're homesteaders and homeschoolers and home birthers, everything at home.
Yeah.
I just want my children to,
hey, I think maybe we have to be, we have to be, I don't know, we feel more led to be a part of making sure they can find spouses. I don't think our parents worried about it. They sent us off to school, off to church. They'll figure it out, off to college. And we were kind of on our own figuring out a spouse. But for some reason, I want to be more involved and help and facilitate and give my kids opportunities, present the right people.
I think part of that is because we didn't have any direction from our parents, really. You know, I mean, our parents definitely had thoughts about you, and I'm sure they had thoughts about me. I don't know if they expressed them as well as they could have, or felt like they had a voice in our life, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've raised our kids so differently than when we were raised.
Right.
So we're having to figure it out all new.
I mean, I look back on, some things my parents did, and like they made some real significant sacrifices to try to help us kids like develop friendships and meet people and stuff, because like, I mean, we were, growing up on a farm, like not going to the public schools in the area, going to a very small church, small community church where there's not a whole lot of like a bunch of other kids. And so honestly, like it was a huge blessing to be part of the like greater, Seventh-day Adventist church community, because being a part of that kind of, affiliation, and we tended to be more on the conservative side of the spectrum. It's no different than I think most other churches, is that you have like the liberal side of things, and the super, super crazy, conservative, like literally, like cult side of things. And then you have the kind of somewhere in the middle, and we tend to be probably on the more conservative side. So we would like go to these camp meetings and stuff where it's like a bunch of people gathering, and there was like a family that was putting on these camp meetings. And so we would like literally go for, a long weekend every year. And then you're just interacting with a bunch of people from other states and stuff, like not, you're not just local people. So that's actually where my wife and my family's like reconnected, was at one of those camp meetings.
Where's she from? She's from
Michigan.
Those happen once a year. That's a Seventh-day Adventist convention or something.
Well, it's not actually tied specifically to the Seventh-day Adventist denomination, but the people that put it on are Adventists. So
how many people come to that?
Well, when I was growing up, I mean, it was hundreds of people.
So your parents would do that, and maybe you would meet a spouse.
Yeah, and then I think part of it was probably just exposing us to friends, helping us develop friends outside of family. Did anybody develop friends or spouses outside of? Yeah, lots. I mean, honestly, and so then from that there was like connections that would be made, and then my parents would take time to, like, all of our vacation time was generally like traveling to visit people. So we had friends in like Virginia that we would go and visit, and here in North Carolina we had some friends that we would come and visit. And so like they were raising a family, 5 kids on a ridiculously small amount of money. I mean, yes, they have made it in farming now, but there was many years where it's like scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, so they would
beans and rice and beans.
Vacation was visiting family, not just to interact and get relationships going, but to save. It didn't cost money.
Yeah, like I mean, we never went to Disneyland or cruises or anything like that as kids. So they would literally, I'm sure, take their last money to like take us to go visit some friends or do one of these camp meetings or something like that. So they, to their credit, were really intentional about making sure that us kids had exposure to the kind of people that they wanted us to be developing relationships with. Because I mean, in our local community, I'm sure it's not all that different than around here. Like if you're going to the public schools, you're just being exposed to
the people who are in close proximity. It's not
a lot of bad, I mean, it's really sad. I mean, we had an employee that worked in our customer service team up until about a year ago when she had her first kid. But she, I remember her saying that like most of her friends that she grew up or that she went to school with had died of drug overdoses.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's off. Our area is pretty bad for that. So, you just get exposed to a lot of stuff. And my parents were like, obviously homeschooling us, did not want that kind of exposure. But at the same time, like your kids aren't going to grow up to be like, I think, well-rounded adults if they don't have exposure to other kids and, having friendships and, that type of thing. So they had to really, I guess, go out of their way to try to make that happen.
Yeah, good for them. And then funny, they started encouraging you to take notice of this lady.
Yeah.
Your wife.
Yep. Here we are.
Matchmaking. No, that's a good idea though, to just be friends with families of like-mindedness, and then you end up having the kids that could possibly
that's really what they did. The other thing that they did, which honestly has served them quite well, is that farming for them has always been more than just a business. It's been more of a missional thing. My dad in particular has this pretty strong, philosophy that agriculture is like God's an initial plan for man, which I mean, I think if you read and believe, the Bible and creation, like God made man and put him in the garden and specifically put him in that place to tend and keep the garden. And so, my dad has pretty strong feelings. And I mean, I tend to agree that like, a lot of different career paths just don't have that same level of like fulfillment and value that like farming and gardening do. And so they have this sort of missional aspect to what they're doing other than just the business side of it. And so on that note, they, let me think, 15 years ago started an internship program where they have, young people that are interested in agriculture that come and spend 6 months to a year on the farm. And so my sister married one of the interns.
Okay.
One of my cousins.
Told you we should start an intern program.
My cousins married Paul's sister married one of the interns. My youngest brother is engaged to a girl that came to the internship program. My brother-in-law met his wife through the farm internship program. And so anyways, it's created a lot of interesting connections.
Yeah. We were going to start an internship program.
And it's just interesting. In fact, and there's other couples that have come out of the internship program, people that were together.
How did they find the interns?
It's like, they didn't go looking for them. They just like, there's.
Okay. Where do they house them?
We have a number of like tiny houses on the farm.
Oh, you do?
We built like some little cabins and stuff.
You do guys and girls?
Separate. I mean, like they have their separate housing, but it's not like a guy.
How many?
I think the most it's always small because they really want to be able to like integrate these interns into not just the farm, but also even sort of trying to include them in some of the family dynamics, like meals together and stuff like that. They
take supper together?
They do lunch together.
Lunch?
Yeah, they do a lunch together every day.
What do they eat for lunch?
Lots of vegetables.
I imagine.
You'd love it. Yeah.
I'd love
it. He's eating some veggies.
Yeah.
I would love it. I love vegetables.
Oh yeah.
I mean I eat protein, but sure. I love vegetables.
No, just lots of.
So what do you think they're having for lunch today?
Probably a big salad. My mom's, she makes some like killer like roasted veggies, so like potatoes and squash and garlic and onions and stuff, just like seasoning like olive oil and then just baking it or air frying it or something like that. So that's a staple. But a lot of like rice and beans, like a summertime dish that, man, I really love. This is like rice with seasoned beans and then doing like diced tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff like that on top with like some some type of like tzatziki or ranch kind of sauce on it. Oh, that's pretty good.
That's your jam?
Then you get your, what's that?
That's your jam?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great. So, you get that complete
tomatoes and cucumbers,
complete proteins. Yeah,
so if
the beans and the rice and.
So if you're on death row and you get a last meal, what's your meal going to be?
Oh, mercy. That's.
It's a little different.
Would you let it all go and eat some meat?
No, because I wouldn't enjoy
go to town
that.
on the rice.
I wouldn't
and
enjoy that because
you didn't grow up on it.
You need some biscuits.
So yeah, I made some biscuits and biscuits and gravy. And corn grits.
What would you make the gravy with?
Just like a white gravy.
Do you guys drink milk? Yes, no. You're not vegan.
You're vegetarian. You're not vegan.
Yeah. So like my wife and I and our family, like we are vegetarian, but not strictly vegan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So you'll do milk.
I
gravy.
don't drink cow's milk. I do like, almond milk and a soy milk or something.
What fat do you put in the gravy?
He doesn't make it.
That's a question for somebody else. Probably some oil. I don't know.
Do you use butter or no? No butter?
Yeah.
You will use butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because see, how I make my gravy is just
we're gonna use bacon grease.
I'll use bacon or sausage grease, but then you can use butter to make it.
I mean, I don't feel like
they might use butter.
Malnourished.
No.
Well, and then I would, put in my flour, which we're gluten free, so it would be a gluten free flour, and then I would pour milk in and whisk it, and that's how I would make my gravy.
Aren't one of the blue zones Seventh-day Adventists, or at least vegetarians?
Yeah. So the Adventists do have kind of a unique perspective on the health, like we call it like a health message or whatever. It's just kind of definitely a part of the religion, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But it's So I think one of the blue zones is Loma Linda, California, which is where there's a Seventh-day Adventist school.
Well, back to what you mentioned earlier with your dad saying man is meant to work in the garden. That's what, Genesis 3 or something, and this is part of. You guys live by that. Yeah. You believe that the meat came after the fall.
Sure, it definitely did. I mean, and I think that there's a lot of examples. Like obviously Jesus ate meat when he was on earth, so like I'm not going to sit here and say like you shouldn't eat meat. I mean, I think you certainly can eat meat. I mean, but like even when like God was leading the children of Israel out of like Egypt, like he provided manna for them. We don't know what manna was, but like he was providing for them in a scenario where they were not able to like sustain their own life. I mean, they were like in the desert, right? And they're on the move, like so they're not able to grow, and that's in that environment where they're traveling. So he was like sustaining them with manna, but they were just like grumbling and complaining, and I think the Bible says like they were longing for the flesh pots of Egypt or whatever. And so then God's finally like, okay, fine, here's a bunch of quail or whatever. And so
I see.
I think that our take on it is just like God's original plan, and like was that we were clearly, eating vegetables and herbs and whatever else. And he put man in the garden to tend it and keep it. And, like I've heard you mention like, gardens are not, it doesn't happen naturally in the wild or whatever. And I suppose that's true. Yeah. But maybe that's why we have to tend and keep it.
Yeah.
I just wonder though what that Garden of Eden was like, because
we don't
know. An apple, but I mean, it wasn't an apple. You know what I mean? But is it more fruit trees?
It would have been more of a permaculture food forest.
Food forest,
probably
perennial. But then he did put us to work after the.
Yeah,
that was part of the curse.
Right, part of the curse is that
we would start sweating.
Your food you will have to toil. The weeds.
Yeah,
you would have to toil.
So that's that was definitely a big part of the curse. For women it was pain in childbearing, and for the guys it's providing for your family is going to be hard.
Yeah. So far as in nature, forget it. The gardens that we eat from today are not going to happen in nature. Sure, but if we just all man left this farm, the cows would break out and just be happy as ever.
Yeah.
And graze and just wander miles and miles and miles and proliferate.
Right.
The garden would be gone as we know it. You'd have wild strawberries and blueberries and things like that. Grapes.
Yeah.
You got wild grapes growing over it. So it's different that way.
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
There'd be lots of food. I mean.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like my perspective, and like I'm still pretty strictly vegetarian, but I definitely see why, homesteading and like subsistence living gets a lot easier when you're eating meat. And
I would tell Rebecca,
I mean,
let's just do if the whole family would just eat meat, it would just be so much easier.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
I would eat 1.5 cow a year.
Right.
That's it. I could live off that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you probably at least were exposed to that guy. He called himself Liver King.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I knew about Liver King.
He was like, 100% claimed he was 100% carnivore. And then obviously there was a big scandal with him doing steroids and lying about it and everything. But I think Netflix did a documentary on that after the fact.
We watched it.
I remember him talking about the fact that since then he's gone to like gardening and like, and he literally was saying that he felt like it was his shtick. So he kind of was like committed to it.
Yeah.
But he's since then realized that he was like starving his body of like.
Yeah. You got to be careful not to get caught up in a shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I think it was Jess or something talked about God putting us to work in the garden, and there's a fellowship with him in that. So there is that. So there is then work in the garden for that.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, everybody needs to be vegetarian. I don't necessarily feel like that's the case. I think there's a lot of, it's just traditionally produced or like commercially produced like meat and dairy would scare me. Like, I mean, you see like truckloads of chickens going down the road to slaughterhouses and stuff. That just disgusts me.
Yeah. David, Brandon Sheard came here, helped us butcher. And he told me that when people come to his farm, they'll say, we just wanted to bring our kids out and see where their food comes from. He'll say, this is not where your food comes from.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
This is not where your meat comes from.
Right. So like if you're growing it yourself and you're managing that process,
they're very different.
That's great. And I think that, living off the land and homesteading, in a lot of ways probably is quite a bit easier if you're, eating meat and, certainly if you were dropped in the wilderness and forced to survive, you're probably going to have to revert to eating meat and bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're in some sort of tropical place. Like, I mean, Puerto Rico, for instance, like so part of the reason we go down there is one of my cousins owns a mini farm down there. They have like 15 acres and they Airbnb it out. So like while we're down there, it's like, I'm just, foraging and there's like breadfruit trees everywhere and bananas and, there's so much and it's like year round, there's so much growing wild. But, if you got dropped in the middle of the mountains of North Carolina and you have to survive,
it'd be rough.
You're not going to survive as a vegetarian.
Yeah. The Cherokee, we're not eating only vegetarian. Yeah. Certainly in the winter.
I mean, I think with enough time to prepare and plant and, grow, like you can probably make it, but not without a lot of prep.
Yeah. So. Barbara O'Neill put a wrench in it for me a bit because she said, when she was on the podcast, she said, well, there won't be any meat in heaven because there won't be any death. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I
used to think all we were going to do is sing in heaven, and I didn't want to go because I don't like singing.
Right.
So I hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case.
Well, who knows? I
mean, we don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know that. I don't know that
we might not even be so preoccupied with even eating.
Exactly. That's what my thought is that
we
can't even imagine what it is. It's so foreign to what we are here that I don't know. It's very interesting.
I was pretty high 2-3 weeks without food.
Yeah, I watched that
I was feeling pretty
podcast.
good.
By the way, that was very interesting. I fasted for a week one time, and so I know what that first week is like.
It's hard.
And I also chuckled when there was this one point where you said something like, I think I come from a lineage of people that must have starved a lot or something like that. Because every time there's food in front of me, I just want to eat it.
Oh, I pig it out. Is that you?
Yeah, I can relate to that. So.
Yeah.
Because I don't stuff myself.
No, she is. She can count on one hand how many times she stuffs herself.
I've literally stuffed
myself
twice.
Every meal.
Because it feels so uncomfortable. I don't like the feeling. So
she comes from a very privileged people.
Enough. I eat
that always had a lot of food.
There was always food at the table.
For a long time.
That was hilarious. But that was impressive to go that long. And I think that, but I remember doing that because it was one of these things. I was listening to a podcast or something, and this guy was saying like the first week of every year, I don't even remember who it was, but like January 1 every year he fasts for a week, and it's kind of like a reset. And like it kind of feels like do that hard thing, and then the rest of the year is going to go well type of thing. And so like I somehow was listening to this like right about this beginning of the year, and was like, I'm just going to do it. So I just on a whim just was like, I'm fasting for a week, and it was tough, but also not as like once you set your mind to it, it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Now longer ones like that aren't that bad. I did a 4-day the other day.
4 weeks
it wasn't that bad.
That's crazy.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was insane.
And I had no experience with it. And nobody I knew had gone that long. So it was quite scary, but
I mean, you can just tell
the internet will scare you to death.
Sure.
The commenters,
you can't
any research you do is going to be very conventional, and it's going to scare you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think fasting, at least intermittent fasting is a powerful tool.
One thing I learned is these created bodies, God created these bodies to, it's a miracle how we're so efficient at burning fat. So one pound of fat is 3,500 calories. That's a really hard day.
Yeah.
That's a very laborious day.
Yep.
But, and it's really, so we're very efficient at burning fat, which is fuel, but we also put it on really good. These are things we should be, it's annoying in today's world with the plethora.
Yeah.
But these are things we really should be thankful for, that we burn energy so well and we store it. So, and it's so easy to gain that energy.
Yeah.
It's easy to gain the energy, hard to burn it. But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
In a normal world where we don't have this unbelievable abundance.
Yeah.
Right. Overabundance.
Yeah.
So
no, it's I was inspired by it. It's
funny how my body could just kick in. How long has it been since my people were really hurting and really didn't have any food? My grandpa raised my family here, and it was tough, but they never went hungry. So it would have to go back at least 4 generations before somebody was hungry and couldn't help it.
Sure.
Well,
but my body just kicked in and just knew exactly what to do. It just started burning the fat. I felt great.
I feel like your dad definitely maybe had some memories of the Great Depression. Like he was born during that.
They were very close. They got very close to it, and they could remember.
Well, Granny told me a story once that where our house was the potato field, and she didn't have anything to cook, and she went down there and I guess had prayed like, I hope I found something, and was able to find some food.
They would get excited about the poke salad. That's the poor man's salad, probably because you had to boil it 3 times.
You have to boil it 3 times, or it's going to poison you. I'm like, what in the world?
The plants are trying to kill you.
Yeah.
She'd go out there and not to cook the crap out of those things. And but they would get excited about that.
I can't imagine.
Probably because they were just I bet they were eating biscuits and gravy and salted ham or whatever.
Yeah.
All winter.
Yeah, it's
they were ready for something different.
Yeah, they were ready for some greens. I mean, I've been studying like circadian rhythm a lot, and talking about in the summer we're actually supposed to gain weight, and in the winter it's more lean and we're supposed to lose weight.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like the natural rhythm of, because like in the summer there's going to be berries and like the plethora of things are going to be coming in, fruits and in that nature. But in the winter it's going to be very lean. We're not going to have the preserved foods like we do now.
Yeah.
Then, it's going to be just a different rhythm.
Yeah.
And it's
Makes
just
sense.
really interesting to think about, because that's when everyone gains weight.
Right, exactly.
Is in the winter.
We stay inside and
Well, and that's when this one lady I follow, we had her on the podcast. She was talking about like in the winter would naturally be more like meat and just meat, not necessarily like other things that could possibly grow in your region. Think about what could really grow. And then in the summer, there's the plethora of all the extra
things. I read The Empire of the Summer Moon, and the Comanches had these baskets. And if they preserved enough jerky, basically, a certain amount of baskets, they knew they were all right for the winter.
Yeah.
And then they just hunker down in the teepee with their hides and smoke and eat their jerky.
Yeah.
And just ride it out.
Yeah. I mean, we have it so easy compared to
we really do.
Our ancestors had.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
So you and I come from the same line of people, huh?
I guess, yeah. A lot of starving people.
No, so for me, like I put on weight when I nurse a child.
Sure.
Like once I give birth, it's like the thinnest I'll be until I'm done nursing.
Okay. Yeah.
My 40s have definitely thrown a wrench in all of this, but I think that there was some research that was done on people like me. And it's like there was somewhere along the line that our people starved and it changed the genetics of us to put on weight while we're nursing so that our child doesn't die.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Isn't that crazy?
Wonderful?
It's like, it's just so, I don't know, maybe something like that happened to you guys. Poor things.
I don't know. I mean,
you guys were the babies.
I don't think there was
situation.
ever any starving in my childhood for sure. I mean, like I said, I there was times where, I mean, my mom was feeding our whole family on, probably a couple $100 a month, of food budget. It was just
lots of beans and rice, huh?
But the thing that's funny is like I remember as a kid like eating a ton of popcorn, but it was always because like
it's so cheap.
We loved popcorn though. Like I grew up, my grandpa would make popcorn every Saturday night, and it was like we'd sit around and eat just bowls of popcorn,
It's so cheap though.
I love popcorn.
Yeah, I mean it's great. And then, lots of beans and rice but like I don't ever remember feeling like deprived in any way, but looking back, I'm thinking, those were definitely budgetary decisions.
Now that you're an adult, you completely understand.
Right. And it would oftentimes be like mom's prepping for lunch and it's like, hey guys, can you go out and pick some whatever, and you just go out to the garden and pick, it's a great way to eat.
I was going to say, when you guys started farming, it probably eased up on a lot of the budget, on the grocery budget. Not that, that, it was the end all be all, but like, I'm sure it helped tremendously. Yeah. I can just thinking of your mom and, having 5 kids and.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would say like, I mean, I definitely remember things that stand out as a kid as like, special moments. Like, we had, a friend that would come and visit every once in a while. Every time he would come and visit, he would bring us like maple syrup, like real maple syrup. Mm-hmm. And that was like the only time we ever had like real maple syrup. Mm. And so he would bring like maple syrup. And, there's little things like that where it's like, I grew up thinking maple syrup was like super special. And I mean, it is special and it's expensive, but like, if we had maple syrup, it was like, you got one pancake with maple syrup and the rest we would be putting like fruit or whatever on, so there was definitely things that I can remember where, especially looking back, it was like, that was definitely, cinching the belt, so to speak. But yeah, we always had plenty of food and certainly, once they had kind of given up on this plan of like only doing a spring strawberry crop and there was more vegetables, like, I mean, there's endless vegetables. And the reality is like, you eat like kings and queens when you're, homesteading and farming and whatever. Like, I mean, we just had this awful ice storm and, most people couldn't get out to go get groceries and people are like freaking out. And like my family that like, I mean, they're commercially farming, but essentially they just have a big homestead. Like they heat with wood. They have gravity flow water from a spring. They don't really have like solar or anything like that, but they just don't rely on power for anything, Nice. And then you have freezers full of food and you have greenhouses and gardens full of food and like, you're doing just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't freak out. I have to go to the grocery store.
Sure.
I'm like, it might be fun to like make something special on this time. But other than that, we're like,
right. When the hurricane came, I mean, we could just, if you had to, we could just lived on milk and eggs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Plenty of salt.
We had salt, milk, eggs.
And we would thrive.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that is definitely.
Well, it's a life of preparedness. Right. Abundance leads to that. And so that's just kind of how we just live our life, Do you and Abby garden, or do you just go buy from your parents?
Well, we've done a little bit of both. So we definitely support my parents. We're, I will say, not as self-sufficient. We're not very self-sufficient right now. And we're actively working towards some solutions to that. We have 35 acres that we're going to be building a house on and developing more of a homestead. I've just thrown 110% of my energy into the business and all that. And so we have some raised beds at the house. And so we've done, we do strawberries, and I've done some tomatoes and some peppers and stuff like that we can, the kids pretty much eat all the strawberries before we can even pick them. But, we've tried to do some of that. We're going to have a little bit more of a garden this year because we have some space that we're developing as a trial farm at Farmer's Friend.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have some nice field space there that we're going to be trying to do some more growing this year. But yeah, the plan is once we move on to our new property, we'll be trying to establish ourselves as more self-sufficient.
The trick for strawberries and blueberries we found, don't try to plant nearly as many as 5 children can eat.
Yeah.
I mean, we bought how many gallons?
We bought 55 gallons of strawberries.
Just go to the local strawberry farm.
Yeah.
We ate them all.
Give them money, and they give you the strawberries, and leave our little strawberry rows to grow onions or something else in.
Yeah, we're not, because I'm going to have to do 85 gallons to keep up with us this year.
Yeah.
Like my
kids, not kidding, smoothies every night.
My kids literally ran through the strawberries.
Put our mics closer.
Blueberries. I want to say I only got 30 gallons. So I'll definitely up my blueberries to probably 50 gallons. But, I made some preserves and out of both. And he has been enjoying that. He takes the strawberry jam with the peanut butter and he just puts it on a spoon and eats it.
Yeah.
That's all you'll need for dessert.
Yep. Yeah.
Peanut butter. You probably kill some peanut butter, huh?
Oh, I love some peanut butter. Yeah.
You guys are really from the same cloth.
Peanut butter and
minus the meat thing.
I'm not a huge I do like chocolate. I find if I eat too much chocolate, it upsets my stomach.
All right.
It probably does his too, but he doesn't care. It just keeps on
going. Push through the pain. No, it doesn't upset my stomach. So what's next for Farmer's Friend?
Well, we are, we're expanding, pushing into. So at this point, a big part of the business is greenhouse structures or high tunnel structures. Okay. So we're building out that product line a little bit more. We have a new model that we're going to be launching in a few weeks. That's our biggest tunnel today. And it's very similar to the one you have. It's just 30 feet wide.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So that'll be perfect for a lot of commercial growers. A 30-foot tunnel is pretty standard. So we're excited about that. The last few years we've been kind of narrowing our focus and really trying to figure out, where we want to put our energies. We're really trying to build more of a brand around education and do more educational content. We do a number of emails every week, and most of those emails we're trying to do, a video tidbit showing people, a technique or some sort of educational piece. And so that's a big part of our mission.
That's if they're on your email list.
Yeah.
How do they get on your email list?
If you go to farmersfriend.com, I think it even just pops up. You can get like a 25% or not 25. You can get a $25 off coupon. I think if you sign up for our email address.
And then
we don't send out really marketing emails so much. We really try to keep it more value based, where we're trying to bring value to people.
And those videos are on YouTube too, or just
currently most of those are just email only, actually.
What's the platform you use to
well, they're just unlisted on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So anyways, we're doing a lot of stuff like that. We are expanding our distribution and capacity for the fabric, the quick plant fabric. It's been one of our fastest growing product lines. I mean, again is one of those things where if somebody tries it, they're most likely coming back the next year for more.
Yeah.
And so we've seen 100% growth in that product line every year. So we're expanding that, and we are also bringing on some new patterns for flower growers. So Floret is a big name in the flower growing space, and so we're going to be replicating the patterns that she uses and recommends for flower growing.
Okay.
So that's and also the eco mulch paper to give an option for people who are just like, absolutely not, I'm not using plastic.
Okay.
And still the main focus of the company as we look at growth plans is still the small scale commercial farms. But we are, still very enthusiastic about supporting the homesteaders. And I think it's interesting because the tools and supplies that are needed for a serious homestead are not that different than what you need for a commercial farm.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's been a natural mesh to kind of try to support and speak to the homesteading community and also the small scale market farming.
Yeah. Us with an 8,400 square foot garden and a 100-foot long, 20-foot wide high tunnel.
Yeah.
That's a small market farm.
Sure.
We're basically a small market farm.
Certainly could be. Yeah.
With 10 head of cattle and 4 pigs and I don't know how many sheep, 15 or
so 20. I mean, to answer that question, chickens. I would say like my big focus right now is trying to get to know our customers in a deeper and better way because there's more and more competition in the space, and we just really want to figure out like what can we do that would set us apart and support our customers and help them to be able to be successful. We've been doing more and more like surveying and trying to understand like who our audience is and stuff like that. And the reality is there's a big percentage of our customers that are trying to be commercial growers, but also a huge percentage of those people are still like making less than $30,000 a year. And so like, we're trying to figure out, what do we need to do to help them get to the point where they are successful? And so whether that's products and resources or whether that's education, we're pursuing all angles. But, again, the mission of Farmer's Friend is just to inspire, educate, and equip growers to change the world through regenerative agriculture. So, yeah, so that's our mission, and we are working towards that every day. If people want to learn more about what we're doing, go to our website, follow our social medias, get on our newsletter, list and stuff like that.
Get on that newsletter, man. No duh.
Or our YouTube, but that's really what we're about, is just trying to be a resource to the community.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me.
Wrap it right there.
Yeah, it's been a joy.
And for bringing us some weed fabric.
Yeah.
And for that high tunnel, for those that don't
I know, yes.
Yeah.
Not only donated the high tunnel after the hurricane, you
installed it.
That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a huge blessing.
High tunnels are just it's another one of those things that once somebody has experienced growing in a high tunnel, they realize that everything grows better in the tunnel, and you can just control that environment. So like
in years.
No, literally, I just stop watering them and they eventually die. Like they don't even die right away.
Yeah.
It takes them a minute, but because it's just usually the end of the season. I'm done. I've already canned. I canned so many quarts of tomatoes.
Weed fabric, it didn't become a jungle in there.
Yeah, it's not a jungle. Yep,
it didn't, and we actually didn't even use 2 rows. A lot of my stuff did not germinate last year. I don't know, like my peppers. We had a lot of failure. Winter squash. I could not get any of it to germinate. I don't know what was the problem. I went and I bought different packets from different companies. Still did not work. I don't know. I was cursed. So peppers.
Are you covering you said you were talking about squash?
Yeah, winter squash.
Were you covering the seeds?
I tried both ways and I couldn't get it to go.
Which way do you like?
I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure squash are kind of sensitive to that. I thought you don't cover the seeds.
We don't generally cover any seeds.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
because a lot of seeds do like to be covered.
Doesn't cover seeds.
Well, I could be wrong on that. I don't want anybody to but I
I don't know. And then my second,
but I think it might be coming back to where maybe you should cover your seeds.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I tried it both ways because I was like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Because like that was one thing. Was it too far down
you must
in
not
the soil?
playing with the moon.
Yeah.
Stop it. I don't know. We had a successful year last year. I had like 120.
You didn't have the woo-woo sticks.
Yeah. No,
in the greenhouse.
You didn't have woo-woo sticks. You know what I'm talking about?
She does brass.
No, it's the copper.
Sticks.
Copper wrapped around sticks, and you put it in your garden.
Interesting. That means you're crazy.
No,
I'm not sold yet.
It's called electroculture.
Okay.
And what it's supposed to do is bring in the Earth's magnetism or something. I don't remember. All I know. No, look it up. Seriously.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
2 years ago.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
No, I mean,
not going to check it out. Abby, you should check it out for him and then let him know that this could be a product for you.
Oh,
there's no doubt that there's
sticks.
something about
call them woo-woo sticks as seen on the Justin Wright show.
Right. I mean, I have no doubt that there is definitely power in the magnetic field. I mean, you know.
Well, so it has to do with bringing in that, but then also it helps like the stuff grow better, which when we did it 2 years ago, it was so fabulous. We've never had such a good garden. And then it also is supposed to help with pests. Okay. It's supposed to like create the vibration that they don't like. It's like supposed to elevate everything. So like,
I mean, I don't, I mean, I think there's a lot of different things like that. And it's just, I always want to try to understand like the science behind it. And there might be a really good explanation
behind
to
it. There is science behind it. It's not woo-woo like he says.
Yeah. But I mean, some of those things like, you know, it works. We just maybe don't understand why it works or how.
So one thing that people will do is that they'll have the wire. It has to be wrapped in a circular, and then they bury it along their garden, and then they kind of like do the edges of it. From what I've seen, I never even did that. I literally just took branches and took some copper and like wrapped it around it and just like stuck it in the middle of my garden. Yeah. And I have to say, we had really great success that year. And Justin's like, it was just a good year. I'm like, it's not.
Could be. I don't know. There's
woo-woo sticks coming to Farmers Fry.
I've seen some crazy stuff. Yeah. But no, it's cool.
First time hearing. Yeah. Leaked. It leaked.
It's really cool to hear you say the success that you guys had though with the tunnel and the quick plant fabric. And I think that really is, you know, part of what I want to try to accomplish over the next few years is just really trying to paint a picture for people of an easy, not that there's any easy way to farm, but like there is legitimately some systems that if you just implement this, and this, it's like 80% easier.
It's very, because we've done broccoli under, you know, that you have to have the cover, the bug net over the broccoli to get a good harvest.
Yeah.
But we just had the bug net, and then, you know, the weeds were coming up. I mean, even like coming over the broccoli, and, you know, it was just such a nightmare. And I was like, we got to get weed fabric. I think it's going to elevate it. And it did. 300 plants. I mean, I preserved so many bags of broccoli. It was insane. And
that's awesome.
We're still eating
Broccoli's so good for you.
And it tastes so good. Yeah. Like we just had it last night, and it was delicious. Or not 2 nights ago, we had it with our meal, and it was absolutely delicious.
Broccoli's one of my faverites. Yeah.
And it's hard to grow. It is hard, but that weed fabric the bug net.
We put down the drip line.
Yep.
Then we put the weed fabric over it. Then we put the bug net over it. You essentially, it's a little more labor intensive getting that installed, but then we literally walked away.
Yeah.
Until time to harvest.
Especially if you put your
we turn on the water maybe once a week.
Especially if you put your irrigation on a timer.
You know, I got to do that.
Yeah,
we haven't
you
done
can do
that
it
yet.
easily. Yeah, I mean, we sell these little valve like hose timers, and they're not really like commercial grade, but they work. I've used them on my personal garden and stuff, and it's just you just easily set it to where you can run the irrigation for 30 minutes. You just set it on timer. So that's the kind of the vision is like. Figure out how to help people to see the vision where they can successfully garden, successfully farm with a lot less, backbreaking, painstaking labor just by implementing these tools and, automating as much as possible, whether that's ventilating greenhouses or whether that's automating your irrigation or whatever, to where you can just set it and focus on marketing and sales and planning and not have to spend all your time weeding and
or preserving it. Well, I mean, I was going to say with your cousin Paul, having seed time in your back pocket and then your tools. Yeah. I mean, you're going to succeed with those two tools right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's still like, I don't ever want to try to paint a picture of like, it's not hard. You still have you still have to be intentional about it. But I mean, I think it's just like anything else. Like I heard a statistic recently, like if you spend, I think it was like, if you spend 12 minutes a day on something, you'll be better than like 99% of the world population on that one thing. So like
so just
spend a little bit of time.
Just garden 12 minutes a day.
I mean, it might take more than that, but like just consistency and some attention to it. And like, it can be successful, but you can't spend all your time weeding and watering, you know,
it's a lot.
So
yeah,
cool.
You're not learning anything doing that or expanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys. And hopefully the audience has found this interesting. And
definitely.
We'll, check out our resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, I hope this is okay. If there's, cause I think you guys have a lot of homesteaders, probably homeschool families and stuff. My mom wrote a book, called Our Ebenezer. You can read it on, or you can buy it on Farmer's Friend website. Obviously all the proceeds go to my mom, but she took the time a number of years ago to write that book. And it's really documenting the story of the farm. And it's a faith-based, family-based perspective that I think has been encouraging to a lot of people, because you read that and it doesn't paint like a glorified picture of anything. It like really, you'll probably cry and you will probably laugh and you'll learn things about me that not a whole lot of people know. And that not necessarily, but if anybody out there is like maybe discouraged or depressed about like their first years or whatever, like,
okay,
I think that could be a really inspirational book to a lot of people. Cause
that sounds good.
Yeah, she really, kind of told all, and there's so many stories of how the Lord just, saved the crops and saved the farm. And like, it's interesting.
So people need to go to your website, farmersfriend.com. Yeah.
As
and
the website.
then
we have
pop-up comes up. They join your email list. They're going to get a discount code. Start with the book and maybe load up on the cart.
Yeah, you can get the $25 off and then go buy the book and a couple other things and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, she didn't ask me to tell her that, but I just think your audience would a lot of your audience, I think, would find that book very inspiring. And it's just the Lord has led not only my family and getting into the farming and like all of that, but also with Farmer's Friend. And I think she gets into some of the Farmer's Friend story in there as well. It's been a while since I read it, but I think people would find it interesting.
Good. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
And also, did I give you guys a copy of that? Because if I haven't, I'll send
No, we'll
I would
definitely
love
read that. I like to read.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.